It's time once again to go racing.
It does not get any better than this.
The pressure is really on now.
Yes, it's pole position. Lights out and we're racing in PSGL.
The first lap has been absolute chaos.
What an overtake.
Oh no!
I've never seen anything like it.
Side by side again. This will be settled right at the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to round number 2 of the PSGL PC F1 season here in season 30. And the story has been all about Barry Burremand up till now. He won the opening race of the year in the Invitational, and then won last time out in what was a thrilling race in Portimao to open the PSGL F1 season. I'm Ginger Angie, and joining me tonight we have got Dan Field. Dan, cracking race in store here at the legendary Silverstone circuit, one of the all-time classics on the Formula 1 calendar.
Yeah, of course, one of my favourite circuits, period. I think just even off the F1 calendar, I really do love this track, and I can't wait to see these drivers take 26 laps plus qualifying of this historic circuit. It's been around since the very beginning, of course. The first ever official Formula 1 championship race was held at this very circuit, formerly, of course, an airfield, as everyone knows.
Yeah, fantastic circuit, high-speed corners like Maggots, Beckett's, Copse, Stowe. Really is one that separates the men from the boys, and I'm sure these drivers tonight are going to have a really good ding-dong battle in the quest for pole and the quest for victory. That is for sure. But before we go on any further and talk about tonight, let's take a look at the drivers' performance after the opening race of the season last week. And it was Barry Burremand who has started 2022 in some style. He took the victory in the end and he moves on to 16 points. Shanaka Clay, who made a brilliant double move in the closing laps to get ahead of Barry and Alvaro Caraton, but couldn't quite hold out. He finished second. Alvaro Caraton finished the race in third, and Thomas Ronhaar, Dan, that was a big story. A reserve driver coming in, and what a performance he put in, finishing in 4th place.
Yeah, that was really impressive from Ronhaar. I'm not too sure if he's filling in for anyone tonight, but he really was impressive. I tipped him for a podium, admittedly. Unfortunately, he didn't grab one, but it was still a great race to watch, and it was brilliant to see someone who's just a few weeks ago moved over from the PC platform, and now he is, from the Xbox platform. Now he's mixing it in with some of the best in the business since the early years of like 2017, 2018 of F1 esports. So it's really great to see how he's doing this this early.
Yeah, very impressive from him. Danny Beresney finished 5th. He actually won in WOR at the weekend, so he's coming into this race with a bit of form. Jake Benham, 6th. He'll be looking for a stronger showing today. Brendan Lee, 2-time F1 esports champion, 7th. And Jarno Opmeer, he had an interesting race, didn't he? He changed his strategy. He started on the hard tyre, didn't he, Dan? And it didn't quite work out. He struggled to make ground and come charging through the field in the closing laps, and left himself with too much to do. He'll be looking tonight to put things right and put an end to that strong start to the season that we've seen from Barry Burremand so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Jarno Opmeer was really unlucky, I'd say, last week with the wrong strategy call. Of course, he didn't qualify inside the top 10. He just decided to make something work, something a bit different. But in all the unknowingness, I suppose, of that strategy at Portugal, you know, it did make for a pretty difficult race, but it is a lot more clear as to what the strategy is around Britain. So I'd imagine if he's able to get himself in the top 10, then he's certainly in a brilliant position coming into the race.
Absolutely. So Jarno Opmeer looking to put things right after that last Grand Prix in Portugal. Louis Welch, the pad man, he finished the Grand Prix in 9th, and he had a good battle with Jarno Opmeer throughout that race as well. And Joni Tormala completed the top 10, picking up 1 World Championship point. Let's have a quick look at the calendar briefly while we wait to get going. Of course, the placements a few weeks ago now, which of course Barry Burremand won the opening race in Portugal last week. We're at Silverstone tonight before we head to Monaco for round number 3 of the championship. So things really starting to hot up as the season begins to take shape. But it's all about tonight, Dan. Qualifying coming up. Q1, Q2, Q3. Remember, in PSGL, we go over the full qualifying format. And you've got to say, Barry Burman, 2 poles in the opening 2 wins. He's got to be the man to beat at the minute, hasn't he?
Yeah, Barry Burman is really on fire at the moment, and his qualifying results have matched the race as well. Of course, 2 wins and 2 pole positions. It is incredible what he is managing to prove, and he's really stamping his authority early on in this championship, which a lot of drivers tend to get a bit scared of. And of course, you know, the likes of Jan Otmir in the past 2 seasons of PSGL. He was one to really start out strong. And of course, we know how that has ended. He is now a 2-time PSGL champion, looking for the 3-peat. But Barry Burman, if all signs are pointing to it at the moment, he's the man to beat him.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's been very, very strong in F1 Esports last season. This could be his year, 2022. It started brilliant for Barry Burman, and he's in fine form. But there's plenty of strong drivers out there who could compete. But let's jump in then to the Grand Prix and have a look then. Qualifying just getting underway as things stand, and you know, getting very, very exciting indeed in a few moments' time. But look at the sky there, Dan. The British Grand Prix, Silverstone, always a track that can present a little bit of interesting weather conditions, like Spa. Not much of a summer in the UK, as we know pretty well, and it looks like the drivers are coming out pretty early. I think I can see a McLaren coming out onto the track almost immediately. It might be Ruben Pedreño that's making his way down the pit lane. It is indeed, for the first car out on track for qualifying. And those guys look pretty menacing, Dan, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the first driver to be coming out at the moment, I believe, is Pedreño. Yeah, of course, Josh Adowu not racing here tonight. I believe he is recovering at the moment for in the hospital. So we do wish him well here at PSGL. Ruben Pedreño filling in his position. He's taking that McLaren out for a spin. He's just coming through the loop section now, and he'll be the first one on an outlap.
Yeah, Ruben Pedreño then makes his way out onto the racetrack here at the legendary Silverstone Circuit, and let's take a look at it then as he makes his way down at the end of the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands and then Luffield. And this is an area of the circuit we expect to see plenty of overtaking. And now he goes through Woodcote and down the old pit straight, Dan, the old former pit straight around here. Were you a fan of the old layout, or are you a fan of the new one, Dan? What's your preference?
I've got to be a bit more biased towards the new one, I'd imagine, just because I more remember it. You know, I wasn't all that old when they were using the old circuit. I believe they first used this new one in 2011, so I'd have been about 7 years old, 7 or 8 years old. So yeah, I remember the new one a lot more. I've got a lot more fond memories, so I definitely say I'm a fan of the new layout.
Yep, well, it is a cracking layout as we watch Ruben Pedreño make his way to the end of the Hangar Straight now. And this is the other part of the track we expect to see a lot of overtaking into Stowe Corner. Now, despite, you know, being flat out for the majority of the lap, one of the tracks with the most flat out sections on the calendar, I've got to say, very, very, very difficult to make an overtake, because it's you know, flat out for so often, and you're not on the brakes that often. The braking zones are quite shallow. It's quite a gradual braking zone when you go into Brooklands and when you go into Stowe. So it's not a heavy braking zone, so it's difficult to maybe try and outbrake other cars. But here is Ruben Pedreño then, the first man on an attacking lap. And while he's on that attacking lap, we can just tell you some information going into this qualifying session. Matthias van Erven, he has got a qualifying ban going into this session because he retired on the racetrack in the last Grand Prix. But I'm looking at the screen and I don't appear to see him there. So no, he's not got a qualifying ban because I don't appear to see him on the timing ladder. So he's not here tonight. I can tell you the people who are swapping in and out. We've got Liam Parnell out for Red Bull. He's been replaced by Simon Perigny. Donoso is out. He's still in Chile. He's been replaced by Luke Smith. Yoni Tomla misses out this weekend for Dario Yamilo. Moreno is out for Joost Noordijk. Simon Shooter out for Duncan Hofland. Josh Idaho, as Dan touched on, is in hospital recovering. Hopefully he's well soon, and Ruben Pedreño replaces him. And Alessio De Capua, the last man missing out, and he is replaced by Sam McBride. So quite a few changes for this one tonight, Dan.
Yeah, it's not the typical grid that we see normally or in PSGL, but there are a lot of drivers looking to make their their first appearance on the big stage. I know the likes of Luke Smith and Simon Perigny, they've not really... I think actually Luke Smith did race in season 28, but he wasn't here in season 29. But I know for a fact, I think Simon Perigny's making his debut. Duncan Hoffland as well, making his debut in PSGL PC F1. Both of these drivers coming up from Xbox and PS4 respectively, and now onto the PC platform, so it really does bring everyone together. And whilst it's not the typical drivers that we'd normally see, I'm really excited to see how some of these guys get on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. I mean, this is what it's all about in league racing, the opportunity to, just show your craft and fight with the very best. So many drivers started very low in PSGL and in other leagues as well, down in, the lower tiers, and they make their way up as Louis Welsh puts in his first time on the board. And, it's almost as if the stepping zone is coming across from the likes of PlayStation and Xbox, and then fighting on PC against some of the top dogs. And yeah, it's great to see some more young blood coming through, and hopefully we'll see some of their faces in the future in Formula 1 esports. As Louis Welsh has set the quickest time. John Evans is out there too. He missed out last week. Good to have John Evans back, and he's another driver that has got plenty of potential to fulfil, Dan, and he'll be looking for a strong result tonight as Altmere now goes quickest of all.
Yeah, of course, John Evans, he's putting his focus on challengers. Shanaka Clay goes quickest of all. Jake Benham's just about to cross the line. He goes 800 slower than Shanaka. Of course, Shanaka Clay, we do have to talk about him, and he put a spectacular performance up last week. I distinctly remember his double overtake for the lead of the race on Barry Burman and Alvaro Caraton, and both of which are racing today. Maybe we could see another repeat of that. His teammate's just gone half a tenth slower than him, so at the moment, in Q1, it's 1-2 for Aston Martin. Simon Perigny has also just gone 4th fastest, so times are being put out on the board. But what I'm interested also to see, there's no intermediate tyres being used in qualifying. Of course, we normally see it, so they don't waste a set of the softs. But I wonder if that could spell a potential bit of rain in the race.
It certainly seems that way, Dan. It certainly seems that way. It was something that was catching my attention. And Alvaro Caraton, by the way, also catching all of our attention by going quickest of all with a 1:26.399. So he goes quickest, 10 times on the board. Brendan Lee is out there on an outlap at the minute. Let's pick him up in the Ferrari, just going out on an outlap. So yeah, it does look that way, Dan. Are we expecting some rain in the race? And if you're new to this, folks, and you just join us, usually the drivers tend to go out on intermediates in Q1 for the first run to try and save a set of tyres for later on in the weekend. But no sign of that here, and as Dan says, it does look like we might be seeing rain at some point. And that sky, as we touched on when we went live, does look pretty menacing out there, which is no surprise whatsoever for the British Grand Prix circuit. I mean, summer in the UK, never been that great, especially up here in Scotland, Dan. I'll say that much, as Brendan Lee is out there on an outlap. The two-time F1 esports champion, back-to-back as well. And how good is it, Dan, in PSGL that we've got two-time F1 esports champions plying their trade and battling for the title? It's excellent, isn't it?
Yeah, it is wonderful, really. We got 4 out of 5 years worth of championship on the PSGL grid, and it is wonderful to see Brendan Lee back in league racing. Of course, he sort of, I guess, just gave up on it, shifted his main focus to esports, but it is wonderful to see him back in the action. I think we'll take a lap with Brendan Lee, of course, racing last week as well. He found himself in and amongst the upper reaches of the pack. He put up a stoic defence on old hard tyres against the fresh, soft runner of Louis Welch. He's also in this race today, racing for Haas. So even though he's got tenure, he's certainly not lost it, and he's just coming through the first sector now, up towards the loop section of the circuit and on to the first of 2 DRS straights, the Wellington straight. There used to be 3 DRS straights back in 2018, the Hamilton straight, the main pit straight. Used to have a DRS zone, but it was removed for safety reasons, and in towards Brooklands corner now. I'm trying to remember all the names on the run up towards Luffield. Brendan Lee looking quite tidy with his lap so far, running it off the exit, and you'll see he's having to fight the car ever so slightly. Of course, the medium tyre is not going to have the same amount of grip as the softs, but on the run up towards the flat out Cops corner, it wouldn't be flat, I'd imagine, on the mediums. And yeah, he's having to lift, and he's gone off the track. Managed to keep it valid though, and now on the run towards Maggots and Beckett. We'll see what he can do through here, through Maggots and Beckett, and then on through towards Chapel. And he's taken that very nicely, running off the circuit ever so slightly. He's maximising the track, and he is looking very quick at the moment with a 103 through the second sector split. Now down towards Stowe corner, where we'll see a lot of overtakes in this race. And on the run-up, I was going to say on the run-up towards the Vale chicane, but unfortunately it's into the pit lane for Brendan Lee, and it did look a bit scruffy at some places, certainly at Cops Corner, where he went off the circuit. But Brendan Lee back into the pit lane, and everyone else coming on out lap.
Brendan ruined it for us. Just looking for an exciting lap, but here is Sam McBride. He can finish the lap for us. Thanks, Sam, as he makes his way into the final couple of corners now. One more corner to go. First lap time of the day for Sam McBride as Dario Yumulo goes quickest on a 26.2. Sam McBride beats him with a 26.2 as the times continue to tumble at the start of the session. Who else we got out there on a quick lap? Louis Welch is just starting one. Have we got anyone out there further through the lap? What about Duncan Hoffland? He's just backed out as soon as I've gone to him. So I think we'll just go straight back to where we were before, which was Ruben Pedreño. So there he is then, into the braking zone at the Brooklands corner, through Luffield now. Very easy to walk the car out to the exit of the corner and get in the gravel, but Ruben Pedreño just about keeps it within track limits. And look at that line he takes through there, that right-hander, as tight as he can get without going all four wheels off, to just shave off a few metres and then right through the high-speed Cops corner, where we saw Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton clash in one of the highlights of the Formula 1's 2021 season. Ruben Pedreño now through Maggots, Beckett's into Chapel, onto the grass through there, really pushing the limits. And by pushing the limits, he's gone purple through the middle sector. Ruben Pedreño with 7 minutes to go in qualifying, looking like delivering a strong lap time here, the Spaniard. Only a couple of corners to go then for the McLaren man in that papaya orange. Louis Welch goes quick again, 126.1. Now, very good start to his session as Joost Noordijk is the first man into the 25s. What does Pedreño do? A 26.2. But what about that from Joost Noordijk? 25.8. Very, very quick, very early on in the session, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, but it could be beaten by a few drivers about to finish a lap. One of them being Barry Burman, as Beresnay goes quickest by just about 100th of a second. Barry Burman, the Iranian McLaren driver, is about to come through the final corner, club corner, and to cross the line. Barry Burman, he goes quickest by just about 400ths of a second above Danny Beresnay. Of course, these two respective winners in both PSGL and WOR, now they're topping Q1 at the moment. I believe Simon Weigang also put in a lap just to go about 300 slower than Joost Noordijk. So at the moment, the gap at the top four separated, I was going to say by 73 hundredths, but then Nicolas Longuet blows everyone out of the water with a 25.765. Brilliant stuff from the Frenchman.
Yeah, and here comes Jarno Opmeer to finish the lap, the reigning esports champion. What does he do? A 25.9, just a tenth and a half shy of the top time we've seen so far. So no big improvement from him. Who else we got out there on a quick lap? I think maybe one of the Williams cars is out there. It is Alvaro Carreton, 3/10 up on his previous best. This should dip him at least into the 125.9s, perhaps even quicker as he makes his way round the final couple of corners. The Spaniard then heads for the line, currently 18th and in the drop zone. He's not anymore. 25.9, as we predicted, goes 7th quickest. So decent effort there from him. Many drivers returning to the pits on their in-lap. Who we got on a quick one, Dan? Anyone out there that you can see at the minute? Perhaps Dario Yumulo is? No, he's bailed out. Wilson Hughes? Yes, Wilson Hughes. Let's pick him up as he makes his way through the middle part of the lap. I think he's backed out. Yeah, he has backed out. He's out of fuel, and that is that for him. So I think that is the end of these runs, unless Brendan Lee's on a quick one.
Brendan Lee.
Yep, there he is. Right on cue, Dan. On you go. Take it away.
Yeah, Brendan Lee's just coming up towards the national pit straight now. It is all or nothing for Brendan. He's got very little time left in this session to put in a flying lap. Currently plumb last in 20th, and he looks all the more committed on this run. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this session through Maggots and Beckett's now, and on the run up towards Chapel. Look at the commitment on the apexes this man takes. He's not a two-time esports champion for no reason, and he's just set a 1 minute 2.5 through the second sector split. Shanika Clay does well to get out of the way. He could be in danger by being in 11th position. Of course, only the top 15 advance. Brendan Lee currently in the drop zone, and he backs out on this lap. And I think he's going all or nothing on a final run. I certainly think he would have been able to set a competitive time there, but obviously not. So these set of runs are done. I believe Alvaro Carreton is just coming into the pit lane now, and that is going to create a bit of a lull period on circuit, because we're going to have 0 cars on track.
Well, just as you say that, someone, I think it's Sam McBride, Carathon's teammate, says, oh no, we don't. We are going to get some more cars on track, much to the delight of people watching back home on your sofas. Sam McBride is out on the racetrack, and he will start that out lap now. But you let us know, folks, in the chat, who do you think is going to drop out of qualifying, or what do you think the target lap time will be to get through into Q2? Look how close it is. You've got Nicholas Longier on top on a 25.7, several on a 25.8, several on a 25.9. I mean, what's it going to be? Is a 25.9 going to be the cutoff point? It certainly looks that way to me. I think a few of these drivers are going to get into the 25s that aren't in there at the minute, Dan.
Yeah, I'm certainly a bit surprised by the likes of John Evans, Brendan Lee not even put a time yet, but I certainly think more drivers can go into the 1 minute 25s. I'd also like to bring something to light at the moment. The gap between Barry Burman and Luke Smith, 1,000th of a second at the moment. That's a millisecond. Put it in nominal I guess just spelled out wordly. I don't know all my vocabulary tonight, but it's brilliant to see Luke Smith in such a good position racing for Alpine today. But a Williams car of Sam McBride, he's about to start his final run here.
Yeah, he is about to start his final run. A few people in chat saying they think it will be a 25.9, 25.8. Says Chaza for the cut-off point. Wow, that would be quite a quick time if that ends up being the cut-off. We'll wait and see as we are now getting into the action then for the final runs in qualifying. We've got Brendan Lee in serious trouble. The two-time F1 Esports champion is under pressure here at Silverstone at his home race as we watch Sam McBride attack the first sector. Currently 18th quickest, needs a big lap time if he wants to move himself into the next part of qualifying. Danny Beresney has retired on his 125.8, so he's pretty confident a 25.8 will be enough to see him through into the next part of qualifying. We'll keep an eye then on Sam McBride as he ends that first sector, and he's 2,000s down on what he's done on his previous lap. So right now, things not looking good for Sam McBride. He needs to find some improvement on this current lap. McBride then has bailed out of that lap. He still has time to get round and do another, but he will have taken life out of his tyres.
Yeah, he certainly can go again here. Other drivers in the drop zone at the moment are pushing at the moment, though, as Rune Pedreño in the McLaren, he's found himself going almost a 10th quicker through the first sector. He's just coming through Copse corner now, on the cusp of being eliminated, currently down in 17th. To jump Louis Welch, he just needs 600ths of a second, so we'll see what he does. He runs up towards the second sector split once he comes out of Chapel. DRS enabled for the McLaren car, and he's 2.25 tenths up on his previous best. If he can continue this form and nestle himself into the 25, I'd imagine 0.9s, maybe 0.8s, and I'd say he'd be perfectly safe. But look at all this traffic he's coming across now, and he's managed to weave his way through it, and I think he might just get away with this lap. Simon Weigang being in front could cause some dirty air for the young Spaniard, but across the line it's not safe. He's lost time through that final sector, and I think all that traffic's put him off.
Far from safe for him, far from ideal. The traffic's put him off. He's in 14th place. That 26.0 might not be enough, and it doesn't look safe. It's going to look even wobblier in a moment's time if Daniel Yumilo can go quicker. He also does a 26.0 and doesn't beat Pedreño. So then, maybe Pedreño can survive. Louis Welch, by the way, the pad man, currently heading out, but he's going a tenth and a bit quicker, and this time does look pretty decent, and it does look like it might be enough to climb himself out of the bottom 5. Yumulo's in the bottom 5. Hoffland, Welsh, McBride and Brendan Lee. Here comes Louis Welch, the pad man, round the final corner. Can he get out in Q1? He can. He rises to 10th quickest. Good lap from him. John Evans' teammate is on the bubble, and he's failed to complete the lap. John Evans in serious trouble of dropping out of qualifying. Duncan Hoffland has spun. His lap is over. Brendan Lee then, the man under pressure, currently last of all, plumb last for the F1 Esports champion of 2 times. Now he seriously needs to deliver a big lap time. That's a little bit wide. Brendan Lee, what's the time? Is he through? Of course he's through. Second quickest. What a time. Why did we even doubt him? Sam McBride then, he's still out there. He's still on a lap. He's currently slowest of all. Can he get out of the bottom 5 as Jarno Opmeer goes quickest of all, Dan?
Yeah, Jarno Opmeer's found himself in the points. The 25.6 is a Sam McBride out of the final corner. It's all or nothing through here, and he crossed the line. Oh, he's just missed out. Qualified 16th position, I believe. that is qualifying over unless Dario Yamulo is still pushing. He might have gone for 2 back-to-back laps. And oh, the Italian man. I think he did 2 laps back-to-back. He was close to getting himself out of Q1, but it was not meant to be. And how about that for a qualifying session? Dario Yamulo, Sam McBride, John Evans, F1 Esports Challengers driver, eliminated, as well as Ruben Pedreño and Duncan Hoffland. But what I'm a bit concerned about is Shanaka Clay. He's just about survived by the skin of his teeth.
Wow, Shanaka Clay's got away with one there. Second last time out, competed for the victory right to the finish. In the previous Grand Prix, he squeezes through, and it was a 25.9 that the cut-off time was. Only just. Dario Yamulo out, Sam McBride, John Evans, Pedreño and Duncan Hoffland, who spun on his final run. Look how close that is. Very, very close. But it's Jarno Opmeer. There he is. Quickest of all, the F1 Esports winning champion. Starting life at Silverstone in qualifying. Very, very well. But a very competitive bottom 5. Bottom half of the order. Extremely close. And in the end, we have lost 5 from the order. But there is the final results of Q1. Jarno Opmeer, top of the times, a 1 minute 25.692. Alvaro Caraton, second with a 1:25.7. Nicholas Longier is third. Brendan Lee, fourth, and boy oh boy, he needed that lap right at the end of the session. Joost Noordijk, he impresses for Mercedes on a 1:25.8. Barry Buremand is sixth, the winner of the previous 2 races. Luke Smith is seventh with Haddad 8th and Simon Weigang 9th. Beresney is 10th, Wilson Hughes 11th, Jake Benham 12th, Louis Welch 13th, Perigny, then Clay. The bottom 5, there it is. Dario Yamulo, Sam McBride, John Evans, Ruben Pedreño and Duncan Hoffland completes the order. As we go back and have a little chat about that session, Dan. Exciting stuff. Are we going to see some rain at some point during qualifying, or will it be in the race? But that was very, very close. And John Evans, he'll be devastated out in Q1.
Yeah, in his home Grand Prix, nonetheless. Same for Sam McBride, of course. John Evans, he was getting the excuses out early on Twitter today, and I'm only joking, but he said that, of course, his full focus is on challengers at this point in time. So it is understandable why he's not all that competitive in PSGL today. But Q2 is about to get underway now. The top 15 in that session, they move on to Q2. 15 minutes to shoot it out, and of course, it is important if we have a dry start for this race, which we're not thinking it is at the moment. Then the drivers qualifying inside that top 10, they are going to have to start on that tyre. But we are underway and into qualifying.
Well, usually the giveaway is if everyone goes out on softs in Q2, that tells you it will be a wet start. But Danny Beresney is going against that here, and he's gone straight out on a set of medium tyres. So there you go then. Maybe it won't rain at the start of the Grand Prix. Who knows? We never know. It's PSGL, folks. Anything can happen, and it usually does. League racing, unpredictable as ever. Danny Beresney out there on a set of medium tyres to bring himself into the zone. Now, I think a lot of people watching can relate to this. I mean, I'm a commentator more than a driver, but I don't know about you, Dan. I do like going out on a set of medium tyres for an early run and then jumping on a set of softs at the end of the session, feeling the grip, gaining the confidence. That's something I like to do. And maybe that's how Danny Beresney feels about the situation. You know, you can go on a fresh set, go really quick, feel really good at the end of the session when the track's ramped up. Watch your delta go green as well. I quite like that. It bodes confidence throughout the lap, and maybe that's how Beresney approaches his qualifying sessions.
That could be the possibility. Of course, it's always great to be green on your deltas. It is, even if it wasn't the most impressive time in the world previously. You know, it is just a nice feeling. But the Hungarian driver is going to be the first driver to set us out on a run in Q2 on a set of the mediums. Nonetheless, he's the only driver to be out on circuit on the mediums, aside from Simon Weigang on a set of the mediums as well. So maybe they know something that the other drivers don't. But Danny Beresney, he's just beginning his lap as he comes down the Hamilton straight.
Yeah, here we go then. Danny Beresney begins it for Ferrari in that prancing horse through Abbey, one of the high-speed turn ones on the Formula 1 calendar. And then he sweeps down into the loop section, tuck the nose into the right-hander, swing it out to the right, and then open up this left. And then it's really all about just being very careful on the throttle because you've got a long straight in front of you. You want to have the best traction possible as he now powers down the Wellington straight, where we'll see plenty of overtaking in the race, right out to the edge of the curb to open up Brooklyn's corner. A little bump in the middle of the corner to unsettle yourself and the car. Now into Luffield, hug the inside like your favourite granny, edge it out to the side of the circuit without going on the gravel. Now, shortest route through here, shave those extra few centimetres off by cutting the inside, and then open up for Copse corner, flat out. Really brave through there was Beresney, pushing the limits, doesn't quite invalidate it as he carries on his way. Now Maggots, then Beckett's, and then onwards into Chapel, the Ferrari on rails as Danny Beresney attacks this legendary Silverstone circuit, and he might even pick up a toe. No, he won't. From Simon Perigny on the right hand side as he now makes his way down into the high speed right. There is Stowe corner. Chucks the car in, moves out to the left hand side, takes plenty of curb and decides to pit. Just like Brendan Lee. Typical Dan, isn't it?
I don't know why they do us like that. You know, it's all good and fun. It's always when we're following them on a lap as well. I never find it when there's just a bunch of other drivers and they actually they come into the pits but we weren't following them. It's always when we're following a lap, but laps are coming out. Shanika Clay, as we just saw, has crossed the line and he's gone into P1. But I'm watching Wilson Hughes on a lap at the moment as he has, oh wow, Barry Burremand with the 25.8. We know they can all go quicker than that. But Wilson Hughes making his comeback to PSGL, wasn't here for the first race, and he's just coming down and towards Stowe corner now. Really talented, hot prospect, of course, a part of Veloce and the McLaren Academy. He's really got a bright future in F1 esports, and that all starts in league racing, one of the most accessible places for anyone at home. As here goes Wilson Hughes across the line, and he has gone second fastest ahead of Shanika Clay and Simon Weigang. Impressive stuff from Wilson Hughes.
Yeah, impressive stuff. I'm surprised you didn't remind me that he's your favourite Scotsman. That was unlike you. As Luke Scotsman comes round the Luke Smith comes round the final corner. I deserve that, don't I? He goes third quickest on a 1:26.1, and yeah, Barry Burman quickest. Wilson Hughes very, very strong, very talented driver. Another one for the future. And there's plenty of strong drivers out there as Simon Perigny is another as he attacks the racetrack at the minute. Jake Benham has just gone third quickest. We've not seen much of him so far in qualifying. Here comes Simon Perigny in the Red Bull. One more corner to go. Gives you wings. It's enough wings to send them flying up to second position in the order. And now we wait for his teammate Nicholas Longier, but he has bailed out of that lap. Several drivers in the pits at the minute, and it's Barry Burman with the quickest time at the moment. 1 minute 25.8, but as you touched on, we've seen them go quicker. Jarno Opmeer showed that in Q1.
Yeah, Jarno Opmeer is just coming out onto the circuit at the moment, just off the exit of the pit lane now, where of course he's getting the view of the visors of the two Williams cars back in, I think, 2019 or 2018 when Sergio Perez came right across their visors. A scary moment for them there, but Jarno Opmeer has no such issues. I'm not too sure. I don't think anyone is on a run at the moment, so we have a little bit of a break just to talk about things. And I guess talking about Jarno Opmeer might not be the worst idea in the world. And of course, he topped Q1, but that's the contrary of what we were seeing suggested about him earlier on. This is apparently his worst circuit, but so far he's looked pretty decent.
Yeah, he's looked very handy indeed. So maybe Jarno Opmeer trying to iron out those very few weaknesses that he has. I mean, let's be honest, he's proved himself over the last 2 years in F1 esports that he's not only very, very quick, but as an all-rounder, he has the full package. Probably the best all-rounder there is. He's very good tactically, he makes good decisions, and of course, he is very, very fast too. I mean, we've seen it as well in esports back in Mexico, where he pulled the trick with the DRS on the closing laps and made it work. And you know, he is a very, very strong driver, and of course he's got 2 F1 Esports World Championships to his name, as well as a number of PSGL titles to his name. A very glittering career so far for Jarno Opmeer, and he's looking strong around this Silverstone circuit, as you say, despite it being his weakest track. So who better to ride on board with for a lap in Q2 than Jarno Opmeer? Let's watch the master at work then. There's nobody better to watch than Jarno Opmeer as he makes his way around the final corner, powers down the Hamilton straight and takes us for a lap around this Silverstone circuit. Through Abbey he goes, 8th gear, full throttle, then through turn 2, sweeping down into the loop section and gets the nose in nice and tight to the right-hander. moves over to the right then to open up this left-hander. Very slow, third gear, then fourth gear, then climbing up through the gears to minimise that wheel spin in a high gear. Opens up the DRS, one of the DRS straights on this racetrack. Down the Wellington straight, brake just after the 50-metre board and swing the Mercedes AMG Petronas into the left-hander. Now into Luffield corner. Be patient, wait for your moment. Pick the throttle up, don't go on the gravel on the exit, and then sweep through Woodcote and then down the old start-finish straight and into Copse corner. Listen to this. Flat out, no doubt about it. Opmia within track limits, switches right out to the right hand side to open up and slingshot into Maggots and Beckett's, all coming at you very quickly, and into Chapel. The tyre screaming at this point as he edges out onto the curb, avoids the grass and keeps it all under control. Jarno Opmia, for his worst circuit, looking pretty handy at this stage of qualifying. Now into Stowe corner, a little bit of curb, McLaren out of the way of Barry Buraman, then hit the brakes at around 70 metres for the final couple of corners. Now try and straighten the car up as best you can, take a little bit of curb, now arrow-like towards the start-finish line. Opmia across it, he goes second quickest, 1:25.8, and it's that man, Barry Buraman, that's just a fraction quicker at the moment.
Yeah, as tidy as you like from Jarno Opmia, just going slower than only one man, Barry Buraman, beginning up on a lap as well. His second run in Q2 at this point in time, so he is looking to extend that advantage that he has. A very slim margin ahead of Jarno Opmia, but we'll see what he does as he comes down the Wellington straight underneath the Aramco banner, and he's 700s up through the first sector already, so this is looking to be a good sign for Barry Buraman. As now he comes out through Woodcote corner as he's just about to approach and on towards the national pit straight, flat out until you reach Maggots and Beckett's. Look at the run up he's going to take all the curb on entry, then swing it in fast towards Copse corner, completely flat through there, and then you get the run up towards Maggots and Beckett's. How about that from Brendan Lee, going quicker than Barry Buraman as well as Daniele Haddad, so it's getting all competitive as the dying minutes of Q2 are approaching fast, but it's a 1, 2, 3 improvement for Barry Buraman, a 10th up on his previous best. Here he comes now through Stowe corner. Shanika Clay, the first man to dip into the 1:25.7s, but all signs indicate towards Barry Buraman beating that time, as now through the Vale chicane and out towards Club corner to cross the line for Barry Buraman. Can he top Q2? You bet he can, as there it is, a 1:25.676.
Yeah, great lap there from him. We're watching Danny Beresley come into the pits. Who else we got out there? Is it Vigang? No, he's coming in as well. And I think that might be the end of the runs this time round. Joost Noordijk, yep, he's coming in too. And I think, yeah, that is the majority of the drivers in the pits. So Barry Buraman then still showing some very strong pace. Shanaka Klee as well, lifting it up a level after just surviving the Q1 knockout zone by the skin of his teeth, looking a lot more comfortable here, and that will be encouraging signs for him. Daniele Haddad, he's looking very quick too. Both Aston Martins looking pretty handy at this stage, but it's Barry Buraman again. Is he going to be the man to beat once more? Remember folks, if you're new to PSGL, you've just been tuning in from the start of the season, or this is your first race this season, he won the Invitational, the pre-season, did Barry Buraman, and then took victory and pole position last time out in the opening race of the season in Portimao. He is your championship leader, and he's top at the minute in Q2. And Dan, he did say in his interview in Portimao last week that he found a few things since F1 Esports. What does he mean by that? He's found a few things. Perhaps a few things in the setup? Something in his rig? Not too sure, but it's certainly paying off.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what it could be. Maybe he's got a PC upgrade or something, but I have no idea. But whatever he's found, it has worked an absolute treat for him, because he is the man to beat at the moment. Currently topping Q2, is beaten out in Q1 by Jarno Opmia, who was on pole about 2 minutes ago in Q2. And now he's all the way down to 5th, so the times begin to drop in this. They continue to drop in this qualifying session. We're still waiting for Nicholas Longuet and Louis Welch to set a lap, so I'm wondering when they're going to be able to set their times. But with 3 minutes to go in qualifying left, I'd imagine that we're going to see our final run start to come out. And I've just seen an Alfa Romeo exit the pit lane. Jake Benham down in P11 at the moment, and he's not looking all that comfortable at the moment, is he?
Yeah, he's in the bottom 5 as Jake Benham, who was a reasonable result in the points last time out. but in the bottom 5 at the minute and some work to do. We haven't seen much of him today, so let's have a little ride on board with Jake Benham. A 1:26.0 at the minute. Again, folks, like we did in Q1, tell us, what do you think the cut-off time is going to be for Q3? I'm going to go 1:25.8. I think there's going to be a real ramping up of the track in the closing moments, and I'm going to go for a 1:25.8 to be the cut-off point. Just reading some of the comments in the chat. Keep them coming, folks. Great to have a very healthy number of you tuning in, and if you're tuning in for the first time tonight, be sure to like the video and subscribe to see this action every Wednesday night at 7 PM. We have got PSGL F1 action with the top esports drivers. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to the action. I'm just reading a comment from George Morgan, legendary former commentator of this top tier. I'm feeling an Opnier versus Buraman scrap. A stunner at Silverstone. George, I would absolutely love that. And you know what? I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling it too. Come on, folks, get your predictions in. Here we go. 25.7, 25.9s. And 25.8s. Even at 25.5, goodness me, that would be something special. As Jake Benham makes his way into the final few corners to start his flying lap then. Jake Benham, let's see what he can do. The all-star round the final corner, starting a lap down.
Yeah, absolutely. Down the Hamilton straight and up towards Abbey Corner. Jake Benham on the cusp of being eliminated. He's down in 11th at the moment. And if you're saying the cutoff is a 25.8, well, he just needs a 2/10 improvement across 3 sectors. A little bit of a squirm out of the exit and on towards Luke Corner, but he's now recovered and on towards the Wellington straight. He's a bit too far adrift from the Williams car up in front to pick up a slipstream, but Jake Benham down in towards Brooklands, and he's slightly down on his previous best. This is not looking good for the Alfa Romeo car. I wouldn't be surprised actually if he backs off and possibly goes for another. He's not got enough time. He's got to commit on this lap down towards Woodcote Corner and on towards the old National Pit Straight, where of course they started the previous race flat out here through Copse Corner, as we'll see up towards the second sector split at the end of the Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel Complex. Some of the most iconic corners in Formula 1 as he slings it right, left and then back right again. He's taken that very nicely indeed. All the commitment in the world. Has he found improvement? He is improving indeed in this massive one of 1.5 tenths. This might not be enough though to get him into the final session of qualifying. Currently down in 11th position, still can be beaten by other drivers as Barry Burman into the pits. He's secure at the top at the moment. Here comes Jake Benham though, about to finish his run. Alvaro Carreton goes quickest of all, but Jake Benham, can he see himself into the final session of qualifying? It's P5 for the young Englishman, but that could be enough, as Wilson Hughes has just gone 3rd fastest. That knocks Jake Benham down another peg. Now Danny Beresney is on the cusp of being eliminated, but he is just out of the final corner. Beresney to cross the line. He sees himself up into 5th. That now puts Jarno Opmeer in danger of being dropped out of qualifying here. The next one up is 11th position, Simon Perigny, to cross the line as now he comes off the exit of the final corner. Can he boost Jarno Opmeer down into the bottom 5? Indeed he can, but Opmeer is also still on a lap, as is Brendan Lee, who's in 10th position at the moment. The Alpine car of Luke Smith is about to cross the line. Nicolas Longuet sees himself out of the bottom 5 and in towards P1. Luke Smith goes 7th position. Brendan Lee's the next one to cross the line. Can he knock out Daniele Haddad? Indeed he can, and next up is Jarno Opmeer to cross the line. He goes P2. Jake Benham out of qualifying here. Simon Weigang the next one up to cross the line. Can he go into the top 10? Yes he can, as I believe that puts us to an end of qualifying the list. Daniele Haddad has anything to say about it? He's coming through the final corners now up towards the Vale chicane. Can he eliminate Luke Smith from qualifying and see himself into Q3 as he crosses the line now? Daniele Haddad, P4 for the man.
Well, great lap there. He gets himself through. Daniele Haddad, what an end to the session that was. And even my 25.8 has been blown away. 25.7 is what it was to get through into the next part of qualifying. And Danny Beresney squeaks through by the skin of his teeth, but going out, Luke Smith, Joost Noordijk, Jake Benham, who'll be disappointed with that effort, Simon Perigny, and the padman Louis Welsh, who did not set a time, but it's Nicolas Longuet now that goes quickest of all on that 1:25.6. Quickest lap we've seen so far in qualifying. Jarno Opmeer again at the sharp end. Alvaro Carreton in P3, but what an end to the session that was, Dan. Lots of drivers setting late lap times, looking very, very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a whole plethora of improvements there. Jake Benham was the first one to cross the line in, I think he was P5 or something. He's qualified 13th in this session, so he's been jumped by a whole host of drivers. Barry Bromand, at that point when the final lap started coming in, he was on top. He was jumped by 4 drivers. Nicolas Longuet, Jarno Opmeer and Alvaro Carreton all found ways to go quicker than him. So it was really impressive stuff from a lot of these drivers in this qualifying session, and the entire field spread of all those that set laps was 0.2 of a second.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. That is what it's all about. PSGL, it does not get any more competitive than this, folks. Look at that. 2 and a bit tenths between 14 cars. It is ludicrous. And the top 8 are all within half a tenth of one another. It really is something quite incredible, PSGL and league racing, and it's very, very rare. But Nicolas gets the job done, and there you go, the Frenchman on top in qualifying 2. We move into Q3 in a moment. Get your predictions in, folks. Who's going to get this pole position? What kind of lap times it going to be? But Longuet looking very strong. The Frenchman on top. Jarno Opmeer is second. Carreton, 3rd quickest. Daniele Haddad, 4th quickest. Barry Burman, 5th. Under a bit of pressure. Barry Burman not showing the pace we've seen from him in qualifying in the last 2 events. What can we see from him in Q3? An uphill struggle, perhaps. Brendan Lee, 6th quickest. Simon Weigang in 7th. Shanaka Clay, Wilson Hughes, and Danny Beresney squeeze into the final shootout. There is your 5 eliminated. Luke Smith, Joost Noordijk, Jake Benham, Simon Perigny, and the padman, Louis Welsh, drop out of qualifying. But, wow, what a session that was. Just the improvements right at the end of the session, Dan. They were incredible, right at the death. But, wow. What a qualifying session we've got coming up. Q3, the top 10 separated by a tenth and a half, not even 2 tenths. Who's going to get pole? I mean, I'm on the fence at the minute. I'm not sure. Who are you going for?
You really have put me on the spot here.
Difficult.
It is very difficult, but you know what? I think he's been so consistent already, and he also didn't do a final run in qualifying. I think Barry Burmand is going to he's going to put it on pole by the end of it, I'd say.
Oh, Barry Burmand says Danfield. Barry Burmand, remember, pole position in the Invitational, pole position in the first race last week. He's going to, for the hat-trick of pole positions and for the hat-trick of victories. Is it going to be Barry Burmand? Let us know in the comment section below. Who am I going to go for? I'm going to go Opmeer. You know something? It might not be his favourite track, but I think he looks pretty strong on a track. He says it's not his favourite. I think Opmeer's going to get the pole today. That's what I'm going for. But here we are, folks. It is time to get into the action. It is the British Grand Prix qualifying round 2 of the season. It's coming up right now. Let's get into the action for the final part of qualifying. Here we go, folks. This is it. Danny Beresney, Wilson Hughes, Barry Burmand, Alvaro Carreton, Simon Weigang, Jarno Opmeer, Nicolas Longuet, Brendan Lee, Shanaka Clay and Daniele Haddad, the top 10 going into the final part of qualifying. We've got 2 Aston Martins in there, 2 Ferraris in there, and that is it in terms of 2 teams in this final part of qualifying. Who have we got going down the pit lane first? Oh, it's your favourite Scotsman, Dan, Wilson Hughes.
Hey, you know, I've been good not mentioning it today, but, well, if you really want to hold a grudge, then yes, my favourite Scotsman, Wilson Hughes, coming out of the pit lane now. In his AlphaTauri, I believe he qualified 9th in Q2. And also, just before we get into the nitty-gritty of qualifying, I'd actually like to mention that in the previous session, 5th and 6th, Brendan Lee and Simon Weigang did the exact same lap time of a 1 minute 25.691, I believe it was, in the end. So the tight margins, I don't think they get tighter than that. They were exactly the same lap time and the exact same gap to Nicolas Longuet, who topped the session. He's not out on circuit at the moment. The only man is Wilson Hughes on track, and I really am a fan of this driver. Of course, season 27 and 28 PlayStation champion. Now he's moved over to the PC, and he was racing a bit last season, but now he's got a full-time seat in the AlphaTauri this season alongside Joni Tormela. Of course, Joni Tormela not able to make it this week. I believe he's currently in England, so not able to race in PSGL. So that leaves all the AlphaTauri business to Wilson Hughes, and he's about to begin his first round of qualifying.
Yeah, Wilson Hughes out very early actually. If you look at the track map on the right hand side, folks, only the other drivers now beginning to make their way onto the track. So Wilson Hughes, hopefully as he starts his lap, won't be finding lots of cars in that first sector, but by the looks of it, I think he might be, as the AlphaTauri starts the flying lap then, the first flying lap of the third part of qualifying. Is he going to deliver a pole position for the AlphaTauri team? Yes, as we predicted, Brendan Lee already has to jump clean out of the way of Wilson as he starts this flying lap into the loop section now. Hugs the inside, get on the throttle as nice and early as you can, and then blast through the left-hander, open up the DRS, and then he might even pick up a lovely little toe off the car in front. Very distant one. They move clean out the way as Wilson attacks Brooklands corner and then into Luffield now. And as you can see below, he's got plenty of battery left at his disposal as he moves alongside and past the McLaren of Barry Burmand. And now down this short start-finish straight, the old start-finish straight, and chucks it into Copse corner. And on his merry way towards the end of this lap now, into the left-hander, then sweeping into Beckett's corner now. And it's looking very, very tidy from Wilson Hughes. Very early on the throttle there, and just about hooked it up as he now hits through the middle sector on a 102.5. Needs a very strong final sector, otherwise it won't be threatening pole position. Wilson Hughes into that Stowe corner he goes now. Couple of corners to go for Wilson, and he's looking pretty tidy. A good banker to open the session. Here we go then. Into the final couple of corners now. Straighten the car up as quickly as you can. Little wobble on the steering wheel. Crosses it now, and it's a 25.9. Not the most spectacular lap to open the session, but it's a solid one nonetheless, as Danny Beresney is the second man to start a flying lap.
Absolutely, just coming through the loop section now. Barry Burmand's also begun on a lap, and now every driver, aside from Wilson Hughes, is going to have an attack at that pole time. Of course, provisional pole at the moment. We've got to wait until the final runs. We get to around the 3-minute mark. That's when you have to go on a lap. If you're not on circuit at that point, you're likely not going to get a lap in at all in qualifying. It's Danny Beresney coming out on this lap. He had a little bit of a slide off the exit of Luffield, but he's recovered nonetheless, and down towards Copse corner. Really composed through there. He looked nice and clean, still keeping it flat on the throttle though, and through Maggots and Beckett. Danny Beresney flying in his prancing horse, Scarlet Red Ferrari, and he's taken that so nicely. Purple as well through the first sector, through the second sector, and this is all signs indicating towards a provisional pole time from the Hungarian, but he's got to hook up the final sector, careful not to invalidate off the exit of Stowe corner, and down in towards the Vale chicane for the final braking zone. And it is just now one more acceleration point through Club corner, and he's going to cross the line. How much clear did he go of Wilson Hughes? Not by too much, with a 1 minute 25.830. It is certainly a good time, but we know that he can do better, and I'd imagine throughout the session we're going to see that.
Here comes Burmand, 25.6 now. That is threatening pole position. Here comes Jan Watmer behind him, 25.8. So Barry Burmand, first blood to him at the moment as we go to the final corner and pick up Brendan Lee. This looks like it's going to be around a 125.9 for Brendan Lee as he crosses the line. It is 125.9. He goes fifth quickest then. We've got one of the Aston Martins. It is Daniele Haddad that's just crossed the line. He's gone second quickest. And we've now got Nicolas Longuet. Look at that, the Frenchman to the top of the times. What an effort that is. As we pick up Alvaro Canaton, he's in a slow lap at the minute. And that is that for the minute. All drivers completing their laps up till now, apart from Shanaka Clay, who has just started one. So we can go to Shanaka Clay now, but it's Longuet that takes the top time at the minute.
Yeah, only by 100th of a second ahead of Barry Burmand, so it is still anyone's game at the moment. Shanaka Clay invalidated on his first run, so he's going on a scrub set of the soft compound of tyre. But he's not been able to put in a time so far this session. This won't be competitive, but I'd imagine he's got a fresh set in the garage and ready to strap on. A little bit of a wiggle out of Luffield, but through Woodcut now, similar to what we saw from Danny Beresney. Actually, a lot of drivers seemingly struggling at that part of the circuit. Flat out through here. It's actually a slight lift from Shanaka Clay, and even so, he still went off the track. He's got a Red Bull car of Nicolas Longuet just in front of him, who does well to get out of the way. But oh, Shanaka Clay, really unfortunate. 2 invalidations on his runs, and he's not going to have enough fuel to go for another lap, so he's just got to come into the pit lane. He's not been able to set a lap time. He's struggling in the early parts of Q3.
Yeah, struggling, and you know, that's difficult for him because, you know, we spoke about it earlier in the session. You really want to have a reference point after one run with your delta to give you an idea if you're up or down. I mean, not all drivers feel that way, but certainly I do. I know I'm only a commentator, but whenever I drive, I like to have that delta, a reference point to know where I am in relation to my previous lap, and Shinaka Clay will not have that for his final run. So this gives us an opportunity, folks, to tell us in chat what you think the pole time is going to be and who it's going to be by. Plenty of people already posting at, and a few people, Real Madrid for life, thinks it's going to be a 25.4. I've got 25 fives in there. Plenty of people think it's going to be right down into the 5s and 4s. I certainly would go along with that as we wait for the final part of qualifying. 3.5 minutes to go here at Silverstone. Tactics rules, he thinks Barry's going to get the pole. And, you know, there's quite a few people suggesting. TJ Griffiths now, 25.5 he thinks it's going to be pole. L thinks it's going to be a 25.4. Dan, what do you think the pole time will be?
I'd say it's low 5s, or I'd say high 4s. I think we'll get around that. So I'd say I'll give myself about a 200ths buffer. So I'd say a 5.2 or a 4.8. I'm going to say it's within that range. I'd be very impressed if they do manage to go quicker. But this is PSGL F1, of course. I'm going to be impressed. And the first driver who's going to try their best to take pole position. He was the first one to set a proper competitive time in his previous runs. It's Danny Berezny, currently 5th position at the moment, the Hungarian driver, winning WOR on the weekend and finishing in a respectable points-paying position last week in Portimao. Danny Berezny, he's looking all right recently, and he's hoping to continue that run of form as he is just on his outlap now, taking it nice and slow. And I believe it's going to be a while until we actually see anyone on a run. I think they are really stacking up for their final laps. We've only got 2 minutes left in this qualifying section, so it might actually be touch and go. If they're going at this pace, it's going to be a bit difficult to see if all these drivers are going to reach the finish line.
Yeah, and if you're new to PSGL, folks, and you're wondering why they're going so slowly and revving the engine, it's to dump as much fuel as they can so that they've got just enough fuel for one lap. That is how tight the margins are in PSGL. Every little hundredth, every gram of fuel they carry is going to slow them down. So that's why you see them revving like crazy to try and dump the fuel on this final run in qualifying. It's incredible how much they've got to go as quickly as they can to beat each other, and that is why they're doing that. I've got to say a big thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. We've got well over 1,000 people now watching the closing stages of qualifying. We're not even in the race yet, so this is great to see. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you're new here, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the PSGL channel. We'll be here every Wednesday night, or every other Wednesday night, 7 PM GMT, to give you this action. And what action we've got here in the closing moments of qualifying. And Danny Berezny then, he's dumped the fuel and he's now ready to dump a big lap time for the rest to chase as he crosses the line and begins it now in that Scarlet Ferrari up towards turn 1, 8th gear, 183 miles an hour through the apex, through Farm Curve, and then down into the loop section. Flings the Ferrari in there into 3rd gear, feathers the throttle now, and now crucial, get on the throttle as quickly as you can. 3rd and 4th gear, no 2nd gear in esports. They need to be in a higher gear to minimise wheel spin, and he's now 8th gear, DRS wide open, powering down the Wellington Straight, swinging into Brooklands corner, and Danny Berezny starting the lap off very well indeed. Let's jump on board with him now as he makes his way through Luffield, edges the car out towards the curb, and then sweeps back to the inside to hug it like his favourite granny. Now in towards Cops corner, listen for the left, there won't be one. There you go, easy, flat, comfortable for Danny Berezny, and he continues on what is a pretty strong lap. The Ferrari driver now through maggots and Beckett's, the fuel all dumped out. This is as quick as you will see the cars go through this section all weekend. Almost a bit of grass there for Danny Berezny, and he's pushing hard, 102.4 through the middle sector. Is it going to be enough to threaten the top time we've seen from the Red Bull of Nicolas Longuet? Here we go then, into the final couple of corners. Danny Berezny pushing hard, gunning for pole position. Break at 70 metres, swing into the final couple of corners. Can Berezny put it on pole? Round the final corner he comes. 125.6 to aim for. 125.7, 4th at best for Danny Berezny. Wilson Hughes, final corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Wilson Hughes now coming out through the club corner, and he's going to cross the line and go third position behind Barry Burman. The Ferrari of Brendan Lee is next to cross the line. Then the McLaren of Barry Burman, who is on a flyer at the moment. Brendan Lee cross the line. He goes top, but it could be beaten by this man, Barry Burman. He crossed the line. There it is, a 0.4. Wow, incredible scenes as Jan Altmaier has gone second quickest. Nicholas Longay with a 0.3.
That's incredible. Into the 0.3s. Nobody in the chat predicted that. A 125.3 to blow them all away. Unless Shanaka Clay. No, he can't. Daniele Haddad. He can't either. Nicholas Longay. What a lap time that is. Blistering stuff from the Frenchman. Oh, what a time. Into the 0.3s. The 0.3s from Nicholas Longay. What a lap from the Frenchman. The Red Bull on pole beats Barry Burman. The pole streak is over for him. Longay on top. Burman second. Caraton in third. What an end to the session. And it's Daniele Haddad P4, Jarno Altmaier 5th, Brendan Lee is 6th, Simon Vigang 7th, Shanaka Clay 8th, Wilson 9th and Beresney 10th. But what about that from the Frenchman in the Red Bull? Red Bull really does give you wings.
I am almost at a loss for words. That is possibly one of the best laps out there, and I really wish we could have got a full on board of that. Incredible from Nicholas Longay. I do not know how you manage a 0.3 around this circuit. No one predicted that they would take a 0.3. Most I was seeing low 0.4s. I was thinking, you're crazy. They're not going to get that. How has he managed that?
Well, you did say it moments ago. I wouldn't be surprised by anything in PSGL. Well, I am surprised. What a lap that is. Longay, I bow to that. What a lap. What a lap. Absolutely sensational. The chat is going up in smoke. What an incredible lap time that was from Nicholas in the Red Bull. And he's going to take some beating in this race, Dan, because that was so impressive. He topples the in-form Barry Burman. And what a race we have got ahead. And we were predicting, folks, that we might see some rain at the start of this race. I can tell you before we jump in, there isn't any rain. It is blue skies and sunshine. When we get to the formation lap, I'll bring it up on the screen. But it's now time to make predictions, Dan. It's hard to argue against Nicholas Longay now for the victory. I'm going for him to win it. I'm going for him to win it. Who are you going for?
Since you've gone for him, I have to go another way. My voice is already gone. We've not even gotten into the race here. I might need someone to bring me up a glass of water. But I've got to go the opposite way. I'm going to go with Jarno Altmaier to win this race. I'm going to go against Barry Burman to take the victory of this Grand Prix. But I'm going to say Jarno Altmaier starting 5th position. He's got his work cut out for him. But I certainly think that he could be in a good position coming into this one. And we saw him top, of course, one of the sessions in qualifying. So I certainly think that Jarno Altmaier, of course, 2-time PSGL champion, he's going to carry that form over into the race.
Okay, well, enough of what we think, folks. Tell us in the chat who's going to take the victory in the British Grand Prix. Round number 2 of the PSGL F1 PC season. It's been a brilliant start to the season so far. We've had excitement in the Invitational, drama in Portimao where Barry Burman took the win. Who's going to win in the second race of the season proper? Let's jump in now and take a look at the cars out there on their formation lap. Top 10 have to start in the tyre they qualified on. That is the softs. Outside the top 10, everyone on the medium tyre with the exception of Dario Yumulo. He has gone for the softs. Now, is there anyone outside the top 10 that might be worth keeping an eye on mediums? Perhaps Jake Benham and John Evans? What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, John Evans starting a lot further down than we'd have imagined him, but Jake Benham, of course, is one to watch for. I'm going to say Joost Noordijk is certainly one we need to watch out for. Of course, season 29 PS4 champion coming into PC F1 for tonight, filling in for Danny Moreno. Hopefully we'll see him at some point this season. But Joost Noordijk, starting in P12, I certainly think he's one to make up positions early today.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on Joost Noordijk as well, looking very, very strong as we get ready for the start of the Grand Prix here at Silverstone. What an exciting qualifying session we've just witnessed. Are we now about to witness an exciting start to this Grand Prix 2? Nicholas Longay on pole position after a stunning 0.3, a 25.3 at Silverstone. An incredible lap. lap of the season already? Perhaps it is. Nobody in chat could even have predicted that. Even in their wildest dreams. Everyone thought it would be a 0.4 or a 0.5. Longier delivered something very special. He lines up on the front row. Barry Buraman moves into position alongside the Red Bull. His eyes fixed on that Red Bull car as he moves into position. The rest of the grid lining up behind. What about the likes of Jake Benham? What can he do from 13th on the grid on a set of medium tyres as they all move into position now? The back row is in place. We can go to the front of the field and get ready for the start of this Grand Prix. Round 2 in PSGL at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, and the lights are out and we are racing. Daniel Yamulo jumped the start. He's already got a drive through, but at the front it's the perfect getaway for the Frenchman. Nicolas Longier holds his lead. Barry Buraman second and Alvaro Caraton third. Oh, look at that. Down the inside goes Buraman already. Trying to make the move on Longier. Couldn't get it done. Tries again into the loop section, but Longier holds on and fends off the attack. Jarno Opmeer making some moves in the background as they make their way down the Wellington Straight for the first time. Already, Barry Buraman tucked in behind him, considering a move into the braking zone. Not quite close enough as we watch Opmeer move up into third place. Gets the move done on Caraton, and we've got a virtual safety car.
Yeah, VSC deployed early for Dario Yamulo, jumping the start, and Louis Welch has got a penalty for colliding with Sam McBride. So it's a bit annoying that the brakes have been applied so early in this race today, but how about that start from Jarno Opmeer? He overtook Daniele Haddad around the outside at Abbey and then through Farm. He managed to make the move stick and then sneaking up the inside of Alvaro Caraton at Brooklands. It was a brilliant start from him, and now surely he's going to be hunting down Barry Buraman and Nicolas Longier. Buraman out of the blocks as well. Looked like he was racing onto the rear of Longier, and we should be getting back underway racing very soon. We just got to wait until the green flags come back out and then we should be able to race. But I'm a bit confused that Barry's delta to Nicolas Longier is now 1.5 seconds back. There we go. He's going to close up once again to Longier, who's got to slow down as they're all teasing us at the moment. Surely we should be getting underway racing at this point in time, as there we go, off the exit of the final corner to start the second lap. The VSC has ended. Nicolas Longier, he's leading on circuit.
Yeah, Nicolas holds his lead then at the start of the Grand Prix. Barry Buraman in behind in second, and Jarno Opmeer third as we get back racing again. We should mention, by the way, Luke Smith already up to 9th position on the medium tyre. That's a very, very, very strong start to the Grand Prix for him. Well done to Luke Smith as we keep an eye on Alvaro Caraton, tucked up behind Jarno Opmeer at the start of lap 2 out of 26 racing laps here at Silverstone. Should be an exciting race ahead as they all make their way down that Wellington Straight for the second time, and Caraton just tucking in. There's that pit stop strategy again. Soft tyres to start, moving on to the mediums for the soft runners. Mediums doing the exact opposite, running longer and then finishing on the soft compound tyre. Nobody out there considering a set of hards, and the reason for that, VSC, it was Dario Yamulo out of the race, drive-through penalty, and then going off at turn 1. We've got Louis Welch, by the way, in the pit lane too. He's making his way back out as well. Perhaps some damage, or no, he was serving that drive-through, wasn't he, or 5-second penalty, not too sure. But look at Alvaro Caraton, the closest at the front to making a move, right up behind Jarno Opmeer, and is keen to try and get that position back down.
Yeah, absolutely. He's about 3/10 adrift from the Flying Dutchman, but in towards Hangar Straight, we're not getting any dosage of DRS just yet at the moment. Of course, we're going to see that next time by, next lap across, and I'm looking a bit further back behind because Luke Smith, despite being able to make up the moves early, is starting to feel the pressure from Wilson Hughes as now they begin lap number 3. DRS will be enabled this time by, and we'll see a flurry of fastest laps come out as well. I believe Barry Buraman is actually just going to secure that. So the quickest man out on circuit is the Iranian, already a winner so far this season. He could try and make it back-to-back in this championship already here, but DRS now enabled, and surely Barry Buraman, he's going to be on the attack.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on them then as they make their way down the Wellington Straight once again. Tucked up behind Nicolas Longier, no close enough for a move though, as they all funnel through that corner and onwards. Let's drop down to P14. Simon Perigny, he was looking quite close to making a move, but not quite close enough. He stays where he is, tucked up behind Joost Noordijk, who was your tip to try and move up through the order pretty quickly. Not happening at the moment for him. Jarno Opmeer, meanwhile, in third position, looks very close to Barry Buraman, who also looks close to Longier. Early days, but they're all just holding station at the minute on lap 3 out of 26, and just you know, looking after the ERS management, looking after the tyres and getting ready for that first pit stop. But Barry Buraman there, as we watch on board from Opmia, really pushing hard at the minute and maybe fancies getting close enough for a move on Nicholas Longier down into the braking zone. He's gaining into Stoke corner, but not enough to go for the move, and he decides to back out at the last possible opportunity. But Barry, with the bit between his teeth, maybe going to make a move now into the braking zone. No, absolutely not. He'll just bide his time and wait that little bit longer. But Barry, certainly, as you touched on moments ago, looking very, very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. He did lift off coming up to the rear of Nicholas Longier, and he didn't use any of his ERS either, so he could go for the move if he wanted to, but he's just laying off him for the time being. That could possibly spark some activity further back behind. Jake Benham already with a 3-second time penalty not going his way in his home Grand Prix. I'm watching to see if Alvaro Carreton wants to make a move on Jarno Opmer, but he's had a bad exit off the loop section and onto the Wellington straight. That's really killed his run. He was about 2/10 adrift from the Flying Dutchman, but he wasn't able to get close enough. And actually, I think Jarno has been able to close to the rear of Barry Buraman, so they're all bunching up at Woodcote Corner now. And we'll see possibly down the Hangar Straight if either of these drivers want to make a move. We've got Cops to go now. And of course, on heavy fuel loads, you do want to have a lift off here because, of course, you'll run right off the circuit. It's not like they're in quali trim. They're not running as quick. As here comes Barry Buraman through Maggots and Beckett's now, closing to the rear of the Red Bull of Nicholas Longier and off the exit of Chapel Corner. ERS now being deployed and the DRS is active coming down the straight. Can he go to the outside line of Nicholas Longier? He's got to be brave, he's got to be bold, but he makes the move stick around the outside. Spectacular scenes from Barry Buraman. He's made that move work and he's gone ahead. Now he leads this race as they come to the end of lap number 4. And Barry Buraman leads from Nicholas Longier. Jarno Opmer still following in behind in third, but what a move, what commitment from the Iranian.
Yeah, I think he almost got Nicholas out there by going to the outside, but he did it. Barry Buraman going for the outside line into Stoke Corner, gets it done, and into the lead he goes as he looks to continue that 100% winning start in PSGL this year. But they're all bunched up very, very tightly, and is Nicholas going to maybe think about coming straight back at him, the Frenchman? Let's see as they make their way down the Wellington Straight once again. Jarno Opmer looking quite menacing in the background as well, gaining and gaining, but not enough to make the move as they make their way, the front 6 all together in a line. And we've seen a move here between, what is it? It's Simon Weigang and Danny Beresney. Beresney gets himself ahead of Simon Weigang and moves up into 7th place. But the front 5 breaking away already. And here we are on board with Jarno Opmer, right up behind Nicholas Longier at the minute, but not close enough to make a move. And Nicholas runs a little bit wide. Opmer now maybe sensing an opportunity to get that little bit closer as they make their way through Maggots and Beckett's now. The dirty air taking effect as Opmer drops a 10th or so, but Longier's a little bit wide, and maybe Opmer fancies a chance here to get a little bit closer. Barry Buraman, meanwhile, not looking like he's got too much speed down the straight either. Longier gaining and gaining, but not enough to make the move, and Opmer stays where he is in 3rd position. But menacing stuff at the front of the field early doors. The top 6 have broken clear.
Yeah, Opmer wanted to overtake Longier there, but the DRS train was the saving grace for the Frenchman, of course. When everyone's feeling the effects of DRS, well, it nullifies the advantage that it gives out. Brendan Lee also suffered that take when he was trying to make the move on Daniele Haddad, as now Joost Noordijk in the pit lane out here. And I expected him to be charging up the order, but unfortunately a DNF in the pit lane for the Dutchman, but the battle for the lead still picks up here because they're all following in behind each other, and I think Brendan Lee is going to be the first one to bite the bullet and close up to the rear of Daniele Haddad, following in the wheel tracks of the Aston Martin. Can he look to the outside? No, he's going to go to the inside, diving up the inside line, coming close to contact. Haddad still trying to hold it around the outside, and now they're going to run wheel to wheel through Luffield now off the exit of the corner. They're wheel banging, and Brendan Lee's almost gone off the circuit side by side through Woodcote Corner. Neither driver wants to give up here. Can Brendan Lee try and soar around the outside? No, Daniele Haddad just muscles him out there. Brilliant stuff that we've just witnessed, but it might not be over because Brendan Lee has put it all on the line. He's got to make this move. He's got to be committed, and through Maggots and Beckett, still closing to the rear of the Aston Martin off the exit of Chapel. Can he seize an opportunity? No, I think he's not, because of course the DRS train saving Haddad once again. But what racing we have just seen.
Is it Hamilton and Verstappen or Haddad and Lee? Because it felt exactly like that. And Opmer has bailed for the pits. Very early stop then for Jarno Opmer. He's pulled the trigger on the rest and he's coming into the pit lane. on lap 6 out of 26. Otmir makes his way in then, and what tyre is going on this Mercedes? It looks like a set of the yellow banded medium tyre. Into the box he comes, yellow medium tyres going on as we go back to the front and look at Nicolas Longuet, keen to try and regain the lead from Barry Bouremanden. Lap 7 now, and it is beginning to hot up with that undercut from Jarno Otmir. Longuet then getting closer and closer as we lose Duncan Hoffman from this Grand Prix now. Not quite close enough though for Longuet to make the move, and he stays in second place. Will all of these drivers make the decision to react immediately, or are some of them going to go a little bit longer? But there's no doubt about it, Otmir pulling the trigger on the rest to try and gain track position at the start of lap number 7. Here we are then, keeping an eye on Nicolas Longuet as he gets closer and closer to the back of Barry Bouremanden as they go into Maggots and Beckett's now, but Barry looking like holding on at the minute. Barry a little bit out of shape there, was he? No, I'm talking rubbish. Absolutely all under control for Barry Bouremanden. He did look a little bit twitchy earlier on in the race through that section, but he's got it all under control at the minute as Longuet gains and gains again. Are we going to get any pit stops this time by? Keep an eye then on Barry Bouremanden, on Nicolas Longuet. Are any of them going to go for the pits? Barry is, Nicolas is, and I think Alvaro is as well. 3 of them straight into the pit lane, maybe even 4. Haddad in as well. Brendan Lee is the only man to go long and carry on. He went for the alternate strategy last week. He's doing the same here. Brendan Lee goes long.
Yep, Jarno Otmir is just coming down the hanger straight now, so we'll see where he emerges in comparison. The undercut is probably strongest around this circuit, given that you're following in the dirty air of other cars for 75% of the lap. You're full throttle, so you're going to feel those effects the most, especially in those high-speed corners. And it's a really long pit straight here. Jarno Otmir is now coming through Club Corner, and everyone's just leaving their pit boxes. It's going to be touch and go as to whether he jumps the leaders, but here he comes through Abbey Corner. You see he's emerging just behind Nicolas Longuet, but he's got the overspeed. He's going to look to go around the outside and towards Farm. Side by side they go on the apex. Oh, off the circuit almost, but he's got the inside for the loop. Nicolas Longuet tries to cut him back, and they're going to go wheel to wheel off the exit here. DRS now enabled for the pair of them, side by side almost, down the Wellington straight. Bouremanden giving a slight slipstream to Longuet, trying to hold it around the outside. It's Jarno Otmir. Longuet forced them out. Still contact. Oh, Longuet spins and onto the gravel.
Unbelievable, what were they doing there? Contact, Longuet in trouble. He's lost control of the race, lost control of the car. A touch there from Jarno Otmir. They were fighting like crazy, and the Frenchman goes spinning. The man on pole position drops right down the order, and it's a disaster for Nicolas Longuet. And there was contact, it was coming. They were battling very, very hard. Otmir gave him a touch, and round he went into a pirouette, and it's game over in terms of winning the race for Nicolas Longuet now. Incredible. Barry Bouremanden now is essentially your net leader of this Grand Prix, but Otmir is right behind him. Wow, that's drama here at Silverstone in round 2 of the championship.
Our pole sitter for this race could be out of contention here. He might be hoping for a safety car late in the race to bring him back into the action. But what he's got to do now is he's just got to get his head down and keep going. Jarno Otmir might have been put off by that contact, might have slight annoyance. Of course, it might be sent into the stewards at the end of it. I'm not going to give my opinion on it just now, but Alvaro Carreton is looking hungry onto the rear of the Mercedes and in towards Loop. I thought he was going to try and look up the inside line, but not quite this time by. We'll possibly see down the Wellington straight if the Spaniard wants to go for a move as closing to the rear of Jarno Otmir. And no, he's not close enough to go for a move into Brooklyn. So into lap number 9 here. The net leader of this Grand Prix is Barry Bouremanden, followed by Jarno Otmir. And then rounding off the podium is Alvaro Carreton. But wow, high drama situations. And we're not even halfway through.
Yeah, incredible. What a start to this Grand Prix. And the talking points are there already for all to see. Jarno Otmir colliding at Luffield Corner with Nicolas Longuet, the man that stuck it on pole with that incredible 125.3 earlier on in qualifying. And Jarno Otmir, I don't know how to judge it. I don't like judging it as a commentator, but to me, it looked like Otmir went for a move up the inside, a little bit desperate and made contact, but we'll have to wait and see it again. Look at this, we're nearly 3 wide into the braking zone, and Caraton sticks his nose in there, lets Opmir know he's there as they go through Stowe corner, but no way through for Caraton at the minute, but he's looking very, very racy behind Jarno Opmir. But Barry Burman, the net leader, what about Brendan Lee? He's made his pit stop and is rejoined at the end of this train behind Daniele Haddad. Could he be one to watch on fresher medium tyres towards the end of this Grand Prix? Who knows? Brendan Lee bringing himself back into play perhaps. But at the minute, it's Barry Burman in 8th, but net leader of this Grand Prix as we await the pit stops of the top 7 in this Grand Prix. Alvaro Caraton then trying to set up a move on Jarno Opmir, or is Jarno Opmir perhaps trying to set up a move on Barry Burman? We spoke about this in qualifying. Or are we going to see a titanic battle between Jarno Opmir, the reigning F1 Esports champion, and the man in form in the league racing scene at the minute? Barry Burman started 2022 with victory in the Invitational, pole in the Invitational, and a victory last time out, and a pole position last time out in Portimao. Opmir then trying to fight the man who wants to steal his crown, and at the minute Barry Burman is looking strong and in the lead of this Grand Prix. We're 10 laps into this and it's beginning to heat up already. We've already had contact between Opmir and Longuet as Barry Burman looks to stretch it out up to 7/10, and Caraton now is right behind Opmir, and he is the one who fancies making a move. Opmir's on the back foot here, Caraton's on the inside. Caraton makes the move in the Williams. Has he got it, made it stick? Not quite. Opmir holds it out in there around the outside. Now is the inside for the next corner and just about fends off Alvaro Caraton, who was looking pretty racy behind him, and Opmir, who looked like he was going to concede the position, just about holds on.
Quick defence from Jarno Opmir there, but he burned a lot of his resources. However, it has left Caraton vulnerable to now the charging Aston Martin of Daniele Haddad, and we could see a titanic battle between these three in the next coming laps. Alvaro Caraton still trying to find a move as Brendan Lee's gone up the inside of Haddad there, and Haddad's gone completely off the circuit. I'm not too sure what the Ferrari was doing there, because I thought that Haddad had the corner. That's killed his chances of closing to the rear of Caraton, probably instilling more confidence into the Spaniard. If that at the moment, Barry Burman still leads from Jarno Opmir, and then Caraton in a net P3. Caraton's looked very racy onto the rear of Jarno Opmir, who has not wanted to give this position up. He wants to maintain that net P2 for as long as he can, but it might all come to a close now. 6/10 is the gap between Burman and Opmir, but only 1.5 tenths between Opmir and Caraton. So Opmir once again, as you said, on the back foot and off the exit of Chapel. Can the Spaniard find an avenue to overtake? I don't think he is, because he's not using any of his overtake. I think he wants to settle in to a little bit of a rhythm here, and no, he's going to hang back, not going to try to attempt the move. But at the end of lap number 12, we're coming up towards the halfway point. I think Nicolas Onguet's just made a move on Simon Weigang. He was about 5 seconds back when he spun. Now he's only 2.8, and that's probably accredited to all the drivers in front of him, fighting it all out. So he could be brought back into this race later on, Andy.
Yeah, he sure could. I've got to say, folks, do not go anywhere, because this is hotting up to be one of the best races we will have this season, because look at this. We've had drama already between Opmir and Longuet, and these guys at the front are battling so hard. How many times already have we seen Brendan Lee and Daniele Haddad get together in a bit of a battle? And Brendan Lee on fresher tyres looks pretty racy out there. And I think, and I'm going to take a drink, sorry, he's looking like he's very, very strong in the minute, Brendan Lee, and getting onto the back now of Alvaro Caraton, and could be threatening an opportunity to try and win this race. Brendan Lee went for a late pit stop and is now coming right into it. He's fought back past Daniele Haddad, and he's now chasing this group, as meanwhile up in front of this we've got Danny Beresney battling with Jake Benham. What a fight this is. And Beresney, who's done 11 laps by the way on a set of soft tyres, is going extremely long into this Grand Prix. I've never seen anyone do this in my life. What is he doing? Must be an incredible strategy, this one. But we need to go back to Caraton, because here he goes again. Round 2 with Opmir, and this time he is through. Opmir can do nothing, and Caraton gets it done. The Spaniard moves ahead of Jarno Opmir and up into 9th place. Lovely move. Through he goes, and you've got to say, Dan, that was coming.
Yep, it had been in the making for a few laps at that point. Barry Burman's just begun to push, I think, because he's just set the fastest lap of the race, finally into the 1 minute 27s. And crucially, he is out of the DRS range of Alvaro Carreton. He's just dipping his nose back in that range, but it is going to be tricky for him to close up that gap. Brendan Lee in behind, though, in the Ferrari car, looking to take it. We're seeing a two-time champion against a two-time champion. Brendan Lee closing to the rear of Jarno Opmeer. 4 esports championships between these men, 17 and 18, 20 and 21. They're about to duke it out as now coming through Luffield corner on the run up towards Woodcote. I think Jarno's been saved by the DRS train here, but Brendan Lee crucially has got a lot more ERS in the battery. He's got 60% at the moment, and he is burning Jarno Opmeer. You can see the blinking red light on the rear. He is sub 10%. Here's Brendan Lee thinking of a move. It's a Magnussen Beckett. I don't believe this. No way. Oh, so close to contact. They've made contact. I don't believe it here. Brendan Lee, that was a bit of an aggressive move, and somehow he's still going, and he's closing to the rear once again. Jarno Opmeer's not going to be happy. He's going to be fuming in that cockpit. Brendan Lee to the inside line at Stowe. Yes, he's made it.
Oh, that is absolutely incredible stuff between the two titans of the league. As you said, 4 esports world championships between them, 2 each, both back to back as well, and that was incredible. Maggots and Beckett's between Brendan Lee and Jarno Opmeer. It does not get better than that in PSGL, folks. That was incredible, and Opmeer, he'll be flustered by that, he'll be angered, and he's now right behind Lee and looking to fight back. This is absolutely epic stuff. Brendan Lee returning to league racing this year, making his debut in PSGL this year, now fighting hard with Jarno Opmeer, sticking one up the inside of the current reigning champion into Maggots and Beckett's. That is about as crazy as you will see a place to make a move. Opmeer then, is he going to try and return the favour on Brendan Lee in a few moments time? Through Luffield they go. Brendan Lee is not within DRS range to Carreton, so at the minute Brendan Lee is looking a little bit vulnerable. And look at this, Haddad out of nowhere. I'm busy watching on board. Haddad now passes Opmeer. This is incredible. Opmeer going backwards like crazy here as Haddad mugs him and goes up now into 10th place. Opmeer really struggling here at Silverstone.
He might have a bit of damage. I'm not too sure. Maybe it could have been from the contact with Nicolas Longuet. When you're at this level of competitiveness, as here comes Daniel Haddad. Oh no, he didn't go for it.
Looked like he was going to send one up the inside of Brendan Lee. We've seen already in this Grand Prix a bit of history between this pair. Will there be more? So has Jarno Opmeer got damage? Would be a good idea if someone... Yeah, hold on, I'm seeing it now. Yes, Jarno has light front wing damage. Thank you for that, Georgie, in the chat. That keeps us posted. He has got wing damage. As we watch Daniele Haddad behind Brendan Lee getting ever closer. Meanwhile, in front of that, Carreton is getting closer to Barry Burman. I've got no idea where to look at the minute, but Barry Burman has been reeled in by Alvaro Carreton. Where do we look, folks? No idea what to do. I would say Carreton is not quite close enough, so I think we'll pick up round number 3 between Haddad and Brendan Lee. Here we go again then, down the straight towards the braking zone. Is Haddad close enough? Not quite close enough to go for the move, and he stays in P10 behind Brendan Lee. What a race this is turning into here at Silverstone.
Absolutely, we've still got some way to go, and we still have all the medium runners yet to come to the pits. Luke Smith, Jake Benham, Perigny, McBride, Pedreño and Evans. None of those drivers have come into the pit lane yet, so it begs the question, where are they going to file out in this affair? They're not going to be too far behind all the soft runners, but we're going to get back to the racing action because here comes Daniele Haddad closing to the rear of Brendan Lee. I think at the front of the order there's some action going on, Andy.
Yeah, there is. Simon Perigny trying to stick one up the inside of Jake Benham. Incredible action going on there, but we need to go to Haddad because look at this, round number 3, Haddad up the inside of Brendan Lee. These two have been going at it like crazy in this Grand Prix so far, and Daniele Haddad sticks one on Brendan Lee into Stowe corner. There is action everywhere you look on this racetrack at the minute. Brendan Lee has to surrender and he drops down a place, but Opmeer at the minute is going backwards, and look at that. Nicolas Longuet, they've already collided once in this Grand Prix. He's reeled him back in. Opmeer is wounded with damage, and here comes Nicolas Longuet. Is he going to go up the inside on Jarno Opmeer? No, he's not. Is he going to calm down now after the collision earlier which seen him spin out of contention for victory? Longier now getting closer to the back of Jarno Opmeer. These guys have been fighting so hard that a spin for Longier was enough to get him back into contention. That's how hard they've been fighting. It's allowed Caraton and Buraman to break clear from this group as Nicholas Longier gets ever closer, now past the scene of the accident where he and Opmeer spun earlier in the Grand Prix, but he's not close enough to make a move and he remains stuck behind Jarno Opmeer at the minute. Meanwhile, at the head of this group, this is the battle. Buraman and Caraton, they are going to be net 1 and 2. But you've got to say, the guys on the mediums, they could be threatening the likes of Lee, Opmeer and Longier at the end of this Grand Prix because they've been fighting so hard.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure they're going to see the soft tyres because I don't know about you, Andy, but on my screen, it's looking like there's a lot more cloud coverage. And I'm seeing in the chat that there's 5 minutes until rain. Oh, if we see rain in this race, we could see. I believe this is Luke Smith's debut. He's currently leading this race, and if he doesn't have to pit and he gets to go into a set of the intermediates, he is going to be laughing and screaming tonight, and this really could be something special as they are all still fighting. I believe Simon Perigny is closing onto the rear of Jake Benham, and Jake Benham's closing up to Luke Smith, so it's all kicking off at the top of the order. None of these drivers have pitted. Jake Benham having a half look to the outside. Perigny tried to look up the inside, so they're all getting rough and tumble here through Luffield Corner. Luke Smith still leads the order, stays as they are, but the rain, I think it is imminent at this point, Andy.
Well, the Grand Prix at this stage has had enough twists and turns already. We've had drama between Opmeer and Longier. We've had Brendan Lee and Jarno Opmeer banging wheels side by side in Maggots and Beckett's, and now Luke Smith on debut in PSGL might even inherit a lead of a Grand Prix if it starts to rain anytime soon. This is incredible the way things are panning out at the minute. Simon Perigny up behind Jake Benham. Jake Benham up behind Luke Smith as they approach Stoll Corner. We've switched away from the lead battle because this could become the new lead battle if it starts to rain any minute now. Drivers on mediums in the top 6 with 16-lap old tyres, they will be praying for rain to start falling from the sky right now. I'm looking from the commentary box window and it looks pretty menacing, the sky out there. Pretty dark clouds, and it is going to be an interesting few laps ahead. Are we going to get rain or are we not? Wow, what a race. We're on lap 18 out of 26. We've only got 8 to go. It's flowing by here at Silverstone. What is going to happen next?
I think if you're a fan of any of these drivers, you've got to get outside right now and do a rain dance for rain at Silverstone, because it could mean the win for your favourite driver, Luke Smith, Benham, Perigny. All these guys still in the fray, but if the rain doesn't come quick enough, those tyres are going to be completely shot, and they might not be able to see the finish. They could be in puncture territory towards the end. These tyres tend to last around about 20 laps, so they are closing to that. They've been on these tyres since the very beginning of this race, and they are still fighting it out like they're just completely fresh, as Simon Perigny is now within a 10th of Jake Benham. John Evans has got a penalty that's going to put a real dampener on his race as here they come out of Chapel Corner. They could be 3 abreast in towards Stowe as here they come down the hanger straight. Jake Benham now has to look to the outside of Luke Smith. Defenseless is the Alpine as they come into the corner close to contact. Perigny now could seize the opportunity because a poor exit for Luke Smith could be Perigny's opportunity to go around the outside. No room at the end for the Red Bull car, but Jake Benham now with a 3-second time penalty leads this race.
Caraton making the move on Barry Buraman, and if it doesn't rain, that's the net lead of the Grand Prix. Caraton down the inside, the Spaniard gets it done on Barry Buraman. What a move into Stowe that is. Could that be a crucial move in the result of this Grand Prix? Caraton now hoping there is no rain at all in the closing laps of this Grand Prix, because he is now ahead of Barry Buraman and looking to end the Iranians' 100% winning start to 2022. Caraton gets ahead, but the rain might ruin it for them all. Jake Benham in the lead at the minute, but he does have a penalty. Luke Smith just needs to avoid getting flustered. If it starts to rain now, he is in prime position for a very, very strong result. 7 laps to go. Get on the edge of your seat, folks, because I certainly am. I've got no idea which way this race is going to turn. What about the weather? What about the strategy? What about the battle for the victory? Potentially between these guys or between Barry and Alvaro. Who knows where to look? but one thing for sure, we're going to get drama in the 7 laps that remain here at Silverstone as Luke Smith now tries to try and retaliate on Jake Benham. He's getting closer and closer. We've got a yellow flag. We have got a car off. It's Sam McBride in the barrier. As down the inside goes Luke Smith. Look how close they are. Luke Smith back ahead, and we've now got a safety car. And will anybody gamble on intermediates before it rains? That could be the next question. Are we going to see drivers gamble on inters? Oh, this is going to be epic. This is going to be epic, folks. What would you do? Tell us in the chat. Would you put fresh tyres on, fresh dries on, or would you put fresh inters on? I've got no idea what I would do. Let's have a look at Luke Smith as he comes down the pit lane. Is it softs? Is it inters? That looks like a set of soft tyres for Luke Smith. Well, 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 what a finale we have here.
These guys could still come out in front of it. Actually, Alvaro Caraton's in the pit lane. Brendan Lee, Jan Otmir.
Enters for John Evans. Enters for John Evans. He's taking the gamble.
Oh
John Evans on intermediate tyres on a dry track. That could be an inspired decision or a stupid decision. We'll find out in the remaining 6 laps which one it is. But John Evans has gone for the intermediate. Jarno Otmir has gone for the intermediate tyre and a brand new front wing. As has Shanaka Clay. Wow, this is going to be epic. This is going to be epic.
Oh my word. Barry Burman now leads this race with Daniele Haddad just in behind, but Luke Smith is in prime position to take the win of this Grand Prix. It's a gamble for the likes of John Evans, Shanaka Clay, Jan Otmir and Wilson Hughes to go on to set the intermediates. But I'm seeing rain now, Andy. I'm seeing rain.
Oh, it's starting to rain here at Silverstone. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. We've got 6 laps to go here at Silverstone and 4 drivers have put everything on the line on a set of inters. John Evans, Shanaka Clay, Jarno Otmir, Wilson Hughes. They have made an inspired decision if it continues to rain like this. Buraman, Haddad and the rest are all in trouble. Luke Smith, has he made the wrong call by going into softs? He had the race in the palm of his hand. If he went to inters, he's gone to softs. And is that a bad decision or a good one? Will some of these drivers try and stay out to the end of the race on soft tyres? This race has been blown wide open by the weather and a late race safety car, Dan. This is astonishing stuff.
Yeah, of course. I'm almost lost for words. I am seeing in the chat there's a lot of reactions going on, but I think one of them does catch my eye, that rain and intermediate conditions are 2 different things. Even though it is raining out on circuit, it might not be wet enough for the intermediates come the end of this race. I'd imagine we're going to go around once more. As yeah, we're seeing pit stops. Pit stop for Daniele Haddad, Luke Smith. They're coming in. Simon Prigney. They're deciding that it's not worth being on the slicks. They're going for the set of the intermediates. But Barry Burman, interestingly enough, is opting to stay out, as is Jake Benham. I see Danny Beresne as well staying out on this set. This puts John Evans in 4th position on a set of the intermediate tyres.
I'm gobsmacked. I'm absolutely gobsmacked with how this race has panned out in the last few laps. This is astonishing stuff that we are witnessing. John Evans now, who, let's be honest, hasn't had a poke all afternoon in this Grand Prix, now sits 4th on intermediate tyres with rain continuing to fall, and he's got 3 cars in front of him who might be on the wrong tyres. We now have the majority of the field on intermediates. John Evans has also got a 3-car buffer to Ruben Pedreño, Alvaro Caraton and Brendan Lee. If those drivers stay out, you make him a strong favourite to fend off Shanaka Clay and Jarno Otmir. This is an incredible situation, but we should also mention that John Evans has an 8 seconds worth of time penalties, so he is also in trouble with that. Does that make Shanaka Clay favourite then? This is incredible.
I'm quickly just going to check John's penalties, because one of them might actually be for collision under safety car, which can get removed. He's got it for speeding in the pit lane. So yeah, John not having a good day at the office, but I'm also getting a couple flashbacks at the moment. I'm just thinking of the last time intermediate condition or wet rain conditions came on for a McLaren leading the race, and well, if you think back to Sochi of 2021, then you'll know, if you're a McLaren fan like myself, then yeah, you won't be happy about this. So Barry Burman, can he right the wrongs of another McLaren driver in Formula 1 and win on a set of the slick tyres. As the safety car is going to go out for another lap here, I believe. Unless it decides to just have a late dive into the pit lane. No, I think it is going to stay out once more. And that is likely for Louis Welch to catch up. He's just coming through Copse Corner now. The rest of the grid at the Vale chicane. So we're going to have one more lap under the safety car. 1.6k live viewers watching history in the making. You don't get action like this anywhere else than PSGL.
Yeah, you don't. You really don't. And things are set up quite incredibly here. So let's just calm ourselves down for the closing laps. We have 22 laps out of 26 completed. We have a safety car bunching the entire field up, and we've got mixed conditions with light rain continuing to saturate the Silverstone circuit. Barry Buraman leads this race. He won the Invitational. He won the first race of the season in Portimao. He's going for a hat-trick to continue his 100% winning start in PSGL in 2022. But the rain has fell on his parade. Will he be able to stay there with Jake Benham behind him on fresh softs, Danny Beresney on 6-lap younger mediums, and crucially, John Evans and the likes of Shanaka Clay, Jarno Opmeer, Wilson Hughes, Daniele Haddad as you drop outside the top 10 on fresh inters. Dan, what's your thoughts on the weather conditions? Is it wet enough? Stick your hand outside the commentary box window. Tell me what you think.
100% it's intermediates. As I've just been watching Simon Weigang. He pitted again for a set of the softs. He was locking his front left coming into the loop section of the track when he was going probably at safety car level speed. I think it is the intermediate conditions now. And with 8 seconds of penalties, well, John Evans is likely not going to win this race. That pushes Shanaka Clay, Jarno Opmeer, and possibly Wilson Hughes into prime race-winning condition. But now that the entire grid is bunched up, surely we'll get the word from race control that this race is going to restart. There we go. Safety car in this lap. Make sure you subscribe to the PSGL channel because it is going to get so beautiful from here.
Well, it doesn't get better than this, folks. We have got 4 laps of racing in the second round of the championship here in PSGL with drivers in all 3 different types of compound here. We're about to get going. Can Barry Buraman make it work on these medium tyres? It's going to be a miracle from here if he wants to win it. Is he going to come straight into the pits? That wouldn't surprise me either. No, he's going to brave it out on the dry tyres, and Jake Benham aquaplanes almost into the side of Barry Buraman at the final corner. If that's not a sign of the conditions, I don't know what is, as they make their way tippy-toeing, slipping and sliding round the final corner and across the line. Jake Benham right in behind. He's going to go for the move, is he? Look at the confidence he's got on a set of soft tyres. Looking left, looking right, trying round the outside he goes of Beresney. Behind that, John Evans is trying to make things work. Buraman squeezes him out. John Evans, meanwhile, is already up to third and making moves. And this, he's going to make mincemeat of these two. Surely in a few moments' time, he's going to breeze past them. Benham gets ahead of Buraman, but here comes John Evans on the intermediate tyre, looking to make big gains here. Down the inside he goes on Barry Buraman. That should be easy as you like. It is easy as you like. The track is wet, and Jake Benham is going to be easy meat as well for this man, John Evans, who needs to clear them all and then run like hell with 8 seconds worth of time penalties. Meanwhile, behind this, look at this, Shanaka Clay and Jarno Opmeer, who could be fighting for the victory in a few moments' time, trying to get ahead of Danny Beresney, but at the minute, there is no way through. Look at this from Shanaka Clay. That's very, very brave on the inside, on the intermediate tyres, against a dry runner. Gets it done on Beresney. That's very brave. In the background, Opmeer tries to follow him through and does so. Crucial move there for Jarno Opmeer to follow Shanaka Clay through as they make their way down the hangar straight. Is Clay close enough to make Opmeer close enough to make a move? No, he's not, and he stays where he is. But interestingly, John Evans still not ahead of Jake Benham at the front.
I think those softs are working well for Jake Benham, who is maintaining the lead of this race. Wilson Hughes manages to clear Danny Beresney, and Shanaka Clay is now getting past Brun Pedreño, and there he is, sliding up the inside of Barry Buraman, as is John Evans, who's trying to make the move. I don't know where to look. Clay goes up the inside, around the outside goes John Evans. He leads this race for Haas. Jarno Opmeer as well slips up the inside of Buraman, and now Wilson Hughes as well. That is out of, he's out of this race.
I don't know where to look. There's action everywhere at the minute, and now we've got McLaren's banging wheels, touching wheels. That's Pedreño and Bunaman. Round goes Pedreño into a spin. Off the track he goes. He's aquaplaned off the road and into trouble. Disaster for him as Shanaka Clay puts a move on Jake Benham to take what is likely to be the lead of this Grand Prix with John Evans' penalties. Jarno Opmeer follows him through as well. It's absolute chaos, pandemonium here at Silverstone. Shanaka Clay gets ahead, Jarno Opmeer gets ahead, and they now begin the hunt of John Evans, who has got so many time penalties, it's untrue. So surely Shanaka Clay is favourite to win from here, as Wilson Hughes now lines up a move on Jake Benham. This is wild.
Absolutely, this is something to behold as Wilson Hughes off the Exeter Chapel. This is the easiest move surely for him of this race. He makes the move and now is in a actually I need to see how many penalties he has. He's got 5 seconds worth of time penalties. That could be for speeding in the pit lane. If so, it's likely that's not going to get removed, and that could really put a dampener on the end of his race, as Jake Benham's just been overtaken by Luke Smith and Simon Perigny, who could be looking at a podium by the end of this if he does not pick up a penalty. It is all kicking off as they begin lap number 25, the penultimate lap of this epic and crazy Grand Prix. We are approaching 2,000 viewers on this broadcast. Make sure you share with your friends, because it does not get better than this, as Simon Perigny still looks to close to the rear of Luke Smith. He's having a look on the rear of his Alpine car. They've been fighting it out for this entire race, and it's all culminated to this point. I am having the best time of my life as Luke Smith almost goes for a spin, and Simon Perigny seizes the opportunity to slide down the inside. Luke Smith might not go down without a fight because he's trying to hold him around the outside. Longuet goes inside and forces Smith off. Smith has the opportunity to find him back at the inside of Luffield, and he's made that stick. I think Longuet decided to back out because he did push him off in the end, but now he's going to come right back at him, Andy, as in towards Cobb's corner. Oh, he had a half look up the inside, but I think he knew to back out there after what happened in Silverstone 2021. How is this happening?
It's incredible. There's action everywhere. I'm honestly really struggling to keep up with this, and I think people watching can see that going by some of these camera angles. I don't know where to look at the minute, but Nicolas Longuet is right up behind Luke Smith and is maybe going to try again to get that move done on Luke Smith, the man who was contending for the victory. If he fitted inters at the pit stop, he would have been favourite to win this race, but as it is, he chose the sauce, then switched back to the inters, and it hasn't worked out at all well for him. He's still holding a solid 6th place at the minute. Longuet trying everything. He's going to try to switch back on the exit. He gives him a little nudge just to let him know he's there as he pulls alongside in the final corner. But still, Luke Smith holds him off. But it's action aplenty here. But we need to pick up these guys. John Evans is in the lead of this Grand Prix, but he has time penalties. Shanaka Clay just needs to stay where he is, hold on to it, and he should win this race. But he has got Jarno Opmeer right behind him. Shanaka Clay, remember folks, last time out, pushed all the way to the flag and almost got the better of Barry Bunaman. He is looking like he's going to win this race, and with the victory he should take the championship lead. It was a second last time out, and at the minute, as a result of time penalties, it's looking like he's going to win here today. Meanwhile, Nicolas Longuet still trying everything to get through on Luke Smith, but it doesn't look like he is close enough to make that move, and Longuet stays at the minute in 7th position. But we need to go back to this man, Shanaka Clay, hunting down John Evans. Doesn't need to pass him. He's aware of that. He's aware of the penalties that Evans has got, and he just needs to take his time, keep it on the island, and despite Opmeer having 3/10 back, he should have enough to fend him off. But here comes Opmeer with one final attempt to try and snatch the victory away from Shanaka Clay. Can he try and scare him off the road? It doesn't look like it. Shanaka Clay in the middle of a sandwich at the minute. He's just got 2 corners to go. Longuet off camera has got himself ahead of Luke Smith, but as they make their way round the final corner now, Evans wins it on the road, but Shanaka Clay will win it in the stewards room. He crosses the line, wins the British Grand Prix here in PSGL, and moves into the World Championship lead. Jarno Opmeer is second, and Simon Perigny picks up a brilliant podium in third in what has been an all-time PSGL classic, Dan.
Oh my goodness me. How has the events of this race transpired into that Jake Benham is going to be the next one to cross the line. He's drifting, actually, out of the final corner and impressively holds it. He'll take 9th position, the final points-paying position. Goes to Barry Burremand, winner of the last race, mired down in 10th. He still picks up a point in this Grand Prix. Danny Beresday misses out on the top 10, as does Simon Weigang, Brendan Lee, Alvaro Caraton, fighting for the win earlier in this race and near plumb last at this point. Heartbreak, you'd say, for those who messed up the strategy call, but that's how punishing things are in PSGL. One slip up on track and off, and your race could be over, and that is really that has been rectified. That's been emphasized, sorry, by this, and Shanika Clay celebrates atop the podium. Jarno Altmaier second, and Simon Perigny, shout out to him, picks up P3.
Boom, Shanakaka. Great performance from Shanaka Clay. Takes the victory ahead of Jarno Altmaier in second. Both of them made the right strategic call. They just doubled down and went for the intermediate tyres with the track still dry, and it worked to perfection. Shanaka Clay takes the championship lead, second last time out. The victory here today at Silverstone. He mastered the conditions at the end. The right strategic call to take the victory. Jarno Altmaier then, he finished in second. Simon Perigny, a brilliant third. What a performance from Simon Perigny, who stands in for Liam Parnell tonight on the podium. What is it with stand-in drivers? Perigny third tonight. Thomas Ronhaar, fourth last week. John Evans is fourth tonight, ahead of Wilson Hughes in fifth. And Luke Smith in sixth, a man who could actually have won this race at one point. Nicholas Longay was seventh after a big spin earlier on in a collision with Altmaier. Louis Welsh was eighth. Jake Benham was ninth, and Barry Burremand was 10th. Then it was Beresney, Weigang, Lee, Caraton and Pedreño, Haddad, McBride, Hofflin, Nordyke and Daniel Yumulo completing the 20 drivers. What a Grand Prix we have just witnessed. That was absolutely insane. I'm sweating here, let alone the drivers, after watching that one, Dan. That was wild, absolutely wild. We had 2,000 people tuning in at one point. Thank you to everyone that did tune in. I'm sure you enjoyed what you saw, so why don't you like and subscribe? What a race, Dan. I don't know where to start. Where do we start? Let's start with Altmaier against Longay, way back when it was dry, around lap 7. What an incident that was. What a battle that was.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to give my opinion on that one there. I'd say that Altmaier wasn't far enough alongside to warrant space on the outside there. He came from off the circuit as well. He went off track and then came on to hit Longay, and I think that it's down to a racing incident there. I wouldn't say that that's the fault of Longay at any point. I'd say that was his line, his corner. Yeah. So it's all up in the air, really, as to what you could consider the right call for that. But of course, if that does get submitted to the stewards, they will make their informed decision. And, you know, that is what is going to stand as. So it doesn't really matter what your and I opinions is, but that's what I believe is correct for this one.
Yeah, I tend to go along with that. I tend to agree. But again, like you say, we don't like to influence any decision from the stewards or anything like that. So we'll leave it there. But I do tend to agree. But of course, there'll be plenty of people in the chat that'll have their opinions, and some of them will be having a go at us for having one opinion and the other opinion. We've seen it from Hamilton and Verstappen in the past, and it'll be the same here again with two giants of the esports series battling like that. But we had great fights throughout. Haddad and Lee were at it. Lee and Altmaier banging wheels through Maggots and Beckett's. That's incredible stuff. What is going on there, Dan?
The pens are being chucked about now, Andy. Oh my! I mean, I was kind of hoping for a reminiscent moment of ILR Xbox back in the day with your pinned tweet. Actually, yes. What a moment that was. But they made that work. They didn't crash. You know, anyone else, I'd say, that's not in PSGL F1 or even in like the top 2 divisions, I'd say that would have ended in a crash. But the mutual respect that these drivers had it's unmatched by anyone. You know, these guys have known each other for a long time. They know when they're gonna go for a move. They know how much space they need. It's all about the mind games at this point, and they really did. They knew each other like the back of their own hand, you know. So it is incredible how they didn't come to contact and it really just does show the level that PSGL is at the end of the day.
Yeah, incredible racing, incredible drama throughout. And then it became clear that the skies were darkening and it looked like we were going to get some rain towards the end. And just to throw an extra curveball, safety car comes out and then decisions get made. The scramble begins for tyres. What do we put on? Do we put inters on it? Do we put dries on it? And in the end, you got to say, the knowledge, the experience, it told. Opmir, Shinaka Clay, they went for the intermediate tyres. The guys that were on the softs initially, or on the mediums initially, that came in at the front, like Luke Smith for example, they went for another set of dries. They made the wrong decision. What a decision from Shinaka Clay and Jarno Opmir, and John Evans as well, to be fair, to go on to a set of intermediate tyres. It was a big gamble. They threw everything at it, and it paid off. And Shinaka Clay, deserving of the victory and the championship lead, Dan.
Yeah, and I think that their strategy call was just what defined their race, really. Of course, they had to clear those cars too. You know, it's not 100% down to the strategy that they completely lucked out that the safety car came out and then they went onto the inters. Maybe drivers wouldn't even have opted for a set of the intermediates if they did go for that. But yeah, if the safety car didn't come out, you know, it's absolutely crazy. As I think now we are about to get some driver interviews coming up very soon, Andy.
Yeah, well, that's that. Let's do that now then, and get into the driver interviews then. And we have Shinaka Clay with us in here. And well, Shinaka, I do not know where to start after that race. That was absolutely wild. You've picked up the victory. You have taken the championship leader as a result. I mean, talk us through that. I mean, what an inspired decision to go into the intermediates. It was a gamble and it paid off, mate. Congratulations. What's your thoughts on that race?
Oh, well, I have plenty of thoughts, but I don't know where to start. Honestly, I'm struggling for words at the moment. But, I mean, I have to devote that win to Danny. I was in a position where I had nothing to lose, and he told me to go on to the inters. At that point, it wasn't even raining. And I was like, is he out of his mind? But he called the God strategy. There was a few more on it, like Jarno as well behind, and he pushed me all the way to the end. It was incredibly close on that last lap, and I'm just grateful that I could hold on, and there were no more laps to do, because I don't know how much longer I would have been able to hold on. But yeah, I'm just hugely grateful for my chat, first of all, on Twitch, and Danny for calling that strategy.
And of course, last week you missed out by just a fraction in a great battle at the front with Caraton and Buraman. You must be delighted to have gone one better here and picked up the victory. I mean, it was just incredible from start to finish. I mean, there was drama at the start. We had Jarno colliding with Longier as well in the mix at the front, and then just to pick that strategy, it was absolutely epic. So well done. But just talk us through the prior to that, you know, the battles prior to that, because it was a crazy race. I mean, there was drivers at the front that could have won it. Luke Smith was in position to win it at one point. If he chose the inters, he didn't do it. And in the end, you guys with the knowledge, the experience worked out. But to be honest, Shinaka, you're saying yourself you wouldn't have done it, but it worked out for you, didn't it?
It was absolutely crazy. There was no point in that race that I thought, oh yeah, this is what's going to happen. All I thought that I was out of the points, and the guys on mediums were going to have an easy run to the line on the inters when it changed. But it all flipped on its head in those last few laps, and well, thank God it went my way for once, because it's very rarely it goes my way in those circumstances. But yeah, the chat was just saying, just never give up, and yeah, that sort of exemplifies that.
And what about, I mean, on that decision, right? And I know you thought it was crazy initially. I mean, what is it that made you decide? And I know Danny, obviously you get Danny as well telling you to make that change, but obviously sometimes on the game you can change tyres to inters and it's a big mistake. We saw that in WOR the other night. You change tyres and it's the wrong decision to make. Was that playing in the back of your mind as well? If I switch here and then it's actually still okay for drives to the end of the race, is that what was playing in your mind as well?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even when I started to see it was raining when we came out on the inters, I was not convinced at all. After seeing what happened in Spa the other day, that it was going to rain hard enough. So I was very reserved in what I was expecting the last few laps. But after a couple of laps under the safety car, it was clear that the track was getting wet enough, and I knew at that point we had a huge opportunity. But it was at no point at no point easy from then on, even if we knew we were on the right tyres. And at that point when we were coming into the pits, we had nothing to lose. So, you know, if we had something, if we were in a really good position, maybe we'd have gone on a different strategy, but I had nothing to lose, and well, thank God for that.
Well, congratulations, Shinaka. You have now taken the championship lead, so well done for that. Dan, have you any questions for Shinaka after that crazy race? I mean, I don't know where to start.
I mean, I think you've covered all bases from me, but I think I'd love to give a congratulations. I think it's in order. If I was wearing a hat right now, it would go off to you, Shinaka. Really well done today, and hopefully we can see more of that later on in the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna, if I needed any more motivation, it's gonna give me some more going into the future rounds. I didn't come in looking for a championship battle, but you know, it looks like I'm in one. So hopefully we could just keep up the momentum going forwards. But it's a really long championship, so nothing's ever guaranteed. So we just go out, have fun, and see what happens.
Final question, Shinaka, before I let you go. Monaco next, round 3, championship leader going in. Thoughts on that circuit? Is it one you enjoy?
Absolutely not. If I come out the championship leader, then there's some miracles happened again. That's all I can say. I haven't driven Monaco in a league race in years, so we'll see what happens. But the aim is points, and we'll go out and get some, hopefully.
Okay, well, best of luck, mate. We'll see you in Monaco next week, hopefully in here for a chat after the Grand Prix.
Thank you very much, Andy. Cheers.
And Jarno, moving on to you now. What an eventful race you had today. That was absolutely wild. Battling with Nicholas Longue, collision at one point, a big talking point in the stream chat. So let's start there then. Your thoughts on that collision with Nicholas?
Yeah, of course. I expected to get an undercut, which I didn't get.
Yeah.
As I reckon my outlap was just too slow. And then we came out side by side into that wall section, and we were alongside each other on the straight. And then Nicholas took the racing line, I think thinking he was clear of me. Yeah, that wheel next to him, of course. And then he turned into the next right-hander, which is Lovefield, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think he thought he was clear of me, but I still had a wheel alongside. And then yeah, we touched. Unfortunately, Nicholas spun out. I had front wing damage. That's why I struggled so much after that incident, as I just had no front downforce anymore. And then the safety car in the end, yeah, was interesting.
Very, very interesting. But before even that, because there was that much drama, you of course had the wing damage. We weren't sure if you picked it up in that incident or later on with Brendan Lee. And here we had in PSGL, this is what we've been waiting for, Jarno, for a long time. Brendan Lee versus Jarno Opmeer, two-time back-to-back F1 Esports World Champions, and they're battling side by side through Maggots and Beckett's, for goodness sake. That is incredible. What about that battle? What you didn't expect that, surely?
No, I didn't expect it. He very late on into the, he got a run on me, and then he went to the inside for the first right-hander. It was a bit late, and then I struggled to still get out of the way. I think I left half a car's width of spade on the inside, so it was very late. But I think we both got through unscathed, luckily. So yeah, that was a bit close.
Yeah, I don't think you were expecting it, were you, in that corner?
No, I did not. No.
Okay, so let's talk about that safety car spell then, right at the end of the Grand Prix, because, I mean, personally, and I'm not just saying this, I'd have went inters. I'd have went for it, and I'm glad that a few cars did do it. So what was your processing behind that? Obviously, we know that Shinaka says he was influenced by Danny. You know, you seem to make good decisions very often, and usually the right one. So what was your thinking behind this one then, Jarno? Give us an insight to an F1 Esports Champion's brain and mindset in this situation.
Yeah, I think the mindset was a little bit the same as I had in this F1 Esports race in China, where I was like, if I box, I need to change my front wing anyway, because if it gets wet, then I will get horrible understeer and will struggle to keep it on track. So I was like, you know, I'm going to come out in a net P12, P13. I might as well put on the inters and send it for a win, as I didn't really expect anyone else to do it, as I felt like it was really risky. I think if the safety car would have come in one lap earlier, it would have not worked. So yeah, it's just a huge calculated risk, which worked out, fortunately.
Yeah, as you say, calculated risk, and you would, as you say, you had nothing really to lose anyway. If the safety car's all bunched up, you're on a damaged front wing, you're going to get eaten up, aren't you? So it makes sense, and it worked out in the end. So I think so. You're saying you're surprised then that Shinaka and even John Evans went for it. Did you think you'd be the only man?
No, I think John had a little bit of the same mindset. He made the right decision. He had, I think, was in the net out of the top 10 as well. So yeah, might as well go for it at that point. And so did everyone behind who was in the same scenario. Like Wilson also made a correct decision. Shinaka was maybe a little bit surprised, but also I think he was also in the net P6, 7, 8, something like that. So he just had to go for it.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that P2. What a recovery. Wing damage, collisions, drama through Maggots and Beckett's, and in the end, you still find yourself on the podium. Well done. Quickly, looking forward to Monaco then, Jarno. What's your thoughts on that? I heard Dan was telling me earlier you're not a big fan of Silverstone. What about Monaco? Do you enjoy it there?
We'll find out next Wednesday if I still enjoy it.
Okay, sandbags then. Is that what you're telling me? Sandbags?
Yeah. I haven't league raced in a long time around there, so maybe I'm washed. But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Dan, any questions for Jarno before we wrap up? Or have I covered all bases?
I was gonna, you know what? I was actually gonna touch up on Monaco there, but you nabbed it right at the end. But I guess once again, congratulations are in order for you, Jarno. It was a brilliant race, of course, at a track that it's not normally your favourite, and you pulled out everything. You did really well today, and you made the strategy work, of course, in the end. Best of luck for the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll see you in a championship fight as well.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Okay, cheers, Jarno. We'll see you next week for the Monaco Grand Prix, and who knows, we'll maybe catch you for an interview again. But wow, Dan, what a race! What a battle we witnessed here today. Front, and I just can't get over some of the action we've witnessed today. It has been dramatic from start to finish. Who's your driver of the day? We didn't even have time to talk about driver of the day. It's been that exciting, that dramatic. But tell us, who is it?
Oh my word! I honestly can't put anyone up there, but I've got to. I've been looking on Twitter, and I've seen Wilson Hughes has got P3 after penalties being removed. So you know what? I'll say Wilson Hughes.
You go for your favourite Scotsman. Fair enough.
Favourite Scotsman.
You know what? I'll agree with you. I'll go for Wilson Hughes as well. So there we go. Scotsman gets the driver of the day from us. Not biased at all. But you know, it's up to you guys. Let us know in the comment section who you think is your driver of the day. And again, folks, big thank you for tuning in tonight. Great to have over 2,000 viewers on this Grand Prix at one point, and it was a race that deserved 2,000 viewers. If you want to see this drama going forward, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the PSGL channel. We will be back again next Wednesday night, 7 PM GMT, for the Monaco Grand Prix. Not often we go league racing in Monaco. It's new in the PSGL calendar. Dan, you must be looking forward to that one. I'm expecting drama at Monaco.
I am too, to be quite frank. I remember, I think last time it was on a PSGL calendar, it was certainly before season 28, which of course was when PC started. I feel like it was season 27 around that point. So it's been a while since we've been to the Principality, but I'm really excited for it. It does pose a big challenge to the drivers, and it's very unforgiving. And when you're in such a high pressure environment like PSGL F1, you know, the tiniest of mistakes at a track where it's so easy to make a mistake could really make or break someone's race. So it is certainly going to be all up in the air as to who's going to win that one.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it then. Next round, next week, next Wednesday, it is the Monaco Grand Prix as we move into February for round number 3 of the championship. Barry's run is over. Shinaka wins at Silverstone and takes the championship lead. That's all from myself and Dan. We'll see you next week in Monaco. Good night.
Bye.